Talk shoes. Recorded live.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Müvment Boxing Podcast, where we bring you your latest and greatest news on boxing. You know, unfiltered, uncut, unbiased, real underground. You know, that's how we do it. You know what I'm saying? With that said, we're going to get the show started, do some introductions. My name is Twine the Divine Liberty of hoopjab.com, holding it down. I'm joined by my cohorts today, as usual, same panelists. As usual, we got 2K the God of the Gods Boxing Talk. What's good with you, man?
What's good, family?
Shit, another day, man. We got Bernard of the Truth and Facts About Boxing. What's good with you, man?
What's up, Victor Newman, and what's up, 2K the God?
All right, we also joined by Bo of the Truth and Facts About Boxing. What's good with you, man? Bo.
Yo, what's up, man?
What's good, man?
Not much. We on?
Yeah, we on.
Oh, okay.
All right. With that said, we're going to get started on this week's topics, man. And, of course, we're going to start it out with last night's spectacular showdown, one of the most anticipated fights of 2017, long awaited. We had Kell Brook defending his IBF welterweight strap in his hometown of Sheffield, England, against the young gun, Errol Spence Jr. out of DeSoto, Texas. Do they call that Dallas 2K, or is that still Dallas?
What, DeSoto?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like down there in South Dallas.
Okay. All right, but we had that fight going on last night over in the UK, or early evening in the UK. And Errol Spence, man, winning by 11th round knockout. He pulled it out, went over to another country for him, hostile waters. Brought the championship back, man. We going to get it started with 2K and let him do his analysis of the fight and break it down for us, what he saw. Just pretty much what he liked and what he didn't like as far as stylistically in the fight. Go ahead, man.
Well, basically, going into the fight, I'm going to regurgitate what we did on our video, man, because that's probably the best I can do to break down. Going in, I had some withdrawals or some concerns for both fighters. In particular, Errol Spence, his lack of head movement, his overall lack of upper body movement, you know what I'm saying, and seeing a lot of two other C-level fighters, not a lot of, but two other C-level fighters that he fought that made homes for respective shots. I mean, you had Chris Van Heerden's jab. I mean, that motherfucker was like 95% with his jabs, the ratio of landed to thrown. And then you have Alejandro Barrera. He had that right uppercut that was landing at will on Errol Spence. Also, he applied a lot of aggression to those C-level fighters, but those guys didn't have the ability to be able to ward off that aggression, hence why they are C-level fighters. Going into this fight with Kell Brook, Brook's clearly a better fighter. He judges distance much better than Chris Van Heerden or Alejandro Barrera. He has better combination punch, and he's a smarter fighter than those two guys. So the same Errol Spence that we may have seen against those guys could be something different, or it could have a different outlook or result for him if he comes in here in this fight the same way. As far as Kell Brook goes, my biggest thing was his movement. Again, shout out to my man Scott Knight. He was big on Kell Brook's movement. I highly disagree with that. I told him exactly the reason why Kell Brook would get knocked out in this fight is because of his lack of effective movement. He moves in a straight line. He moves back and forth. You do see him moving laterally. He has subtle lateral movements, but he's not moving laterally, turning opponents and throwing combinations like you would see a mover like an Aris Landilor doing or a Guillermo Rigondeaux. He's not like that, and that's actually, in my opinion, the kind of movement you have to beat a guy like Errol Spence, or at least to ward off that aggression that he has. Kell Brook did turn him in this fight, but when he turned him, he stayed directly in front of him. He threw maybe a couple shots after turning him, but he didn't. I mean, he should have kept moving more. He should have turned him through a couple combinations and then got the fuck out of there. That's what he should have did, but he stayed there. Also, against Gennady Golovkin, you could see him move clearly back. He'll backpedal, and when his back touches the ropes, he tries to spin off the ropes as quick as he can. Against guys like Errol Spence and Gennady Golovkin, guys that are very good at cutting off the ring, you can't expect to do that and get away with it 100% of the time. And if you look at this fight, you look at the Gennady Golovkin fight, a lot of the damage that was done that led to the knockouts were against the ropes. But what I did like from Kell Brook was that counter jab, man. That shit was sick. He was timing the shit out of Errol Spence. What I didn't like in respect to that from Errol Spence was he didn't utilize feints. I was telling my wife, whenever he threw the jab out there, Kell Brook immediately came over the top of his jab, and he was doing it every time. So I'm telling my wife, dude, you got to feint with that jab, dip left, and then come up with a straight left hand. When you feint and you dip, that's gonna make Kell Brook overcommit. He'll probably try to counter something that's not there that'll leave him wide open when you come back up with a straight left hand. And that's what I was saying he needed to do. While he was dipping left, he didn't feint first, and he would dip too far left to the point where he would be caught off balance, and Kell Brook would just tie his ass up. But like I said, the whole lack of effective movement for Kell Brook is what did him in, because whenever he stayed directly in front of Errol Spence, he allowed Errol Spence to tee off on his body. And that's exactly what I said prior to the fight would be the difference is the body shots. And I'll say it right now before the Keith Thurman fight even happens, that's going to be the difference there is the sustained body attack that Errol Spence has. You know what I'm saying? So if you stay right in front of this guy, he's going to tee off on your body. He's going to fucking end up wearing you down, and you're going to get knocked out, man. And it's a testament to Errol Spence's condition. I mean, when I interviewed Derek James, he flat out told me that, they spar top-level fighters. I mean, they're in there sparring Jamel Charlo, Robert Brandt. They're sparring heavyweights. They're going 19-plus rounds with only 30-second breaks. You know what I'm saying? So a guy with that kind of regimen is going to have top-quality condition to the point where you can hit this nigga with the kitchen sink, but he's still going to keep coming forward. Also, he's going to have that alpha male mentality similar to what Jamel Charlo has, to where he will eventually bully you in the ring. He can wear you down and end up becoming the bully because he's not getting fucking tired. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, all those things I just said is exactly what we've seen in this fight. One thing that Errol Spence needs to work on, and it's been there since, like I said, Chris Van Heerden and Alejandro Barrera, and before that, dog, he has to work on his head movement, man. That's just something that he's got to work on. He's got to work on his upper body movement. He's got to work on using feints, man. His footwork was a little bit better than what it normally is in this fight, but those two things are something that he has to work on. And I've been mentioning pretty much all day today to a couple of people that have viewed my video prior. A guy like Erislandy Lara at 154 will give Errol Spence major trouble, fam. And the reason being is because he will utilize 100% of the ring, and he will box behind a jab from the outside, and he will set up traps for Errol Spence. It is so fucking easy if you're a cerebral fighter, right? Within the first 6 rounds of the fight, you can set up traps for Errol Spence and take those early 6 rounds if you're a cerebral fighter. And I think a guy like Lara, even though Spence can cut the ring off, a guy like Lara, man, he is setting up those traps and moving laterally the way he does. I think he gives Spence fits. I mean, that's not a fight that's on the horizon, but that's a fight that I would love to see because that right there is a truly 50-50 fight. But as far as Kell Brook, man, he did well. He looked good early, and like I said, it was just the body shots that paid dividends that wore him down. I didn't like how he quit at the end. He did excessive holding. The referee, I mean, like I said before, this is the most holding I've ever seen since the Vladimir Klitschko versus Alexander Povetkin fight. It was the most holding that went unnoticed. He did hold a lot against Sean Porter, but this fight was extremely excessive, and it was because he was fighting a more effective, aggressive. How do I say? A fighter that has more effective aggression. Whereas Sean Porter is like, I'm gonna maul my way into this motherfucker. You ain't gonna do nothing about it. Errol Spence is more cerebral in his attack and how he applies effective aggression. So Kell Brook had to hold in order to stop that shit, stop the onslaught. And it was to the point where it was like, ref, you got to say something to this motherfucker, man, because honestly, let's say this fight was in the U.S. or we had a better ref that had a better discernment, Kell Brook would have lost a point easy in that fight for holding. You know what I'm saying? Let's say we got the same ref that was reffing Lamont Peterson versus Amir Khan, who deducted a point for pushing. He would have deducted a point for holding in this fight. You know what I'm saying? So the quitting I didn't like. He's blinking his eye and shit, but it's clear to me that he could see out of it. My man Kashai, shout to my man Kashai. He said that prior to the fight, you know, Kell Brook was stating that he's going out on his shield. He don't want nobody stopping the fight. But as soon as this motherfucker took that knee, that's exactly what he was looking for, somebody to bail him out. You know what I'm saying? So he beats the damn count of 10, but then he's still looking for a bailout. You know, I don't know, man. I didn't like that. But as far as Errol Spence, man, top 3 welterweight right now. Hopefully they get that Keith Thurman fight cracking. I like a Danny Garcia fight for him next as well. Maybe even a Sean Porter. Sean Porter's been vocal as fuck since this fight. He wants Errol Spence. And that's what I love about Sean Porter, man. This motherfucker will fight anybody. Him and Adrien Broner, real talk. Adrien Broner, you know, does a whole lot of bullshit, gets himself into trouble. A lot of niggas don't like him. But you got to respect the fact that these two motherfuckers will fight anybody, you know, that you put in front of them. You know, and actually seek these challenges as well. So Sean Porter wants the Errol Spence fight. I think Sean Porter gets fucked up, but that's still a good fight that I would like to see. So, and as far as Kell Brook, you need to go on ahead and fight Amir Khan straight up. Go ahead and get that money, dog, and get up out of here. Hang him up. Real talk. That's easy money. You know, dumbass Amir Khan talking about, you know, they going to fight. It's a good fight for next summer. Didn't say shit about Errol Spence. Motherfucker calling out the loser. Go ahead and fight this bum-ass nigga. Get that shit. Go ahead and get the money. Retire, man. That's all. You know what, nigga? I'll watch the fight. I'll watch it.
Is it still a Wembley fight?
Huh? Yeah. Wait, no, hell no, nigga. No, that's a stadium fight that holds like 6,000 people.
Damn.
Fuck that. And then they're gonna have to, and then they're gonna have to section off a area and shit because they ain't gonna use it. Fuck out of here, man. Americana is full of shit.
That's a 4,000 fight. People fight then. 2,000 people in the section off.
Exactly. Exactly. But I'll watch that fight though. But you know, just to see who the biggest loser is. Real talk.
Damn. Pass it on the road, man. What you see in this fight? What you like, man? And you know, just what you think about the prospects for Spence moving forward. You know, such a dominant KO. You know.
I mean, you know what? Before I talk about the fight, I'm gonna take this time out to mention the motherfucker who had the nerve to say some shit to me on my fucking YouTube page, Zab, whatever the fuck this nigga's name is. I don't know. This clown ass motherfucker. So, of course, I said, hey, there's a few things that we don't know about for certain that can also impact how the fight's gonna go. Like, for example, Errol Spence fighting in hostile territory, and maybe the referee, because we all know UK refs can be a little bit excessive in warning you when it comes to body shots and they take you out your game plan. Then I mentioned how I wasn't confident in Kell's eye and the weight and his mental makeup. And this motherfucker chose to come to me saying, oh, you sound like you ain't confident in Spence and all that shit. And I said, dog, there's other shit outside of just what they can do that you have to factor in when you're talking about a victory, especially when you're talking about something neither fighters ever had to deal with. He kept on going. Well, guess what happened, motherfucker? Guess why the goddamn fight was stopped? Mm-hmm. So this is why you either, if you don't know boxing, shut the fuck up and listen to those of us that's telling you something that you ain't never heard before, or continue taking these fucking L, getting videos made about your stupid ass and being a clown. And I was looking for him today, tagging him and shit, and this motherfucker wouldn't show up. So it is what it is. But 2K talked about he was looking for a bailout. No, he quit because I watched that over and over again. When the referee was talking to him, because the 10 count stopped. When the referee was talking to him, he said, "That's it, that's it." He said it twice on his knees. That's it.
Yeah.
And then he stood up and looked toward his corner. So here he was done. But I said this. I said, I'm not upset about him quitting because I'm not surprised, because I knew that if he gets hit and his eye goes bad, the mental makeup, when you get beat like he got beat against Golovkin, that shit stays with you. That fucking style, I don't care who you are, that shit stays with you. And then he said that the doctor told him, and this was before, he said it again, but before he said that the doctor told him if you did with one more round, you could have wound up being blind. Then he talked about how intense the surgery was, how difficult it was for him after the surgery. And I'm listening to all that shit, after his injury, and I'm like, this motherfucker in the back of his mind, mentally in the back of his mind, this motherfucker ain't right. If that shit go bad, he might check the fuck out. And we say that all the time about how, I think it was Mike Tyson that said boxing is 90% mental and 10% physical, and that shit is fucking true. So Errol Spence came in, and Kell Brook's and them thing was they wanted to get Errol Spence into deep waters. But Spence and them team wanted to get Kell Brooks into deep water because they felt because he hadn't been fighting in a long time because of what he was coming off of, he would wear down. In the beginning of the fight, Kell came out, tried to establish his dominance. Now, 2K is right. Errol Spence has to do something about moving his head. He did a little bit better this time with not so much moving his head, but he would put his left hand up pretty high to kind of block the shot a little bit, but he still has to move his head more. And then as far as him fainting, he didn't start fainting. I think I saw a few faints in like the 8th, 9th round and stuff like that. That's when he tried to faint a little bit. So he got to do a little bit more. But you still got to admit to something about it is, as much as we see, as many flaws as we see in Errol Spence, and this is to tell you how good he is, the flaws that we see in him, we still see him beating motherfuckers. And that's the thing. Like, the flaws you see Errol Spence has, the raw talent and the straight-up ability and the straight-up meanness, mean streak in this motherfucker is just sometimes, that shit just sometimes be enough to where he is willing to put his will on you, come at you and say, fuck it, and just let it all go. And like you said about Sean Porter, like, that's an interesting fight. You're right. Like Sean Porter, I said, Sean Porter is probably the best welterweight out there with the best resume because he's fought damn near everybody you can think of. He's fought, you know what I'm saying? He's fought everybody you can damn near think of out there. These other dudes ain't doing what Sean Porter's doing. And you're right. He shows up for other fights to let everybody know I'm in the fucking building. But moving forward with Errol Spence, listen, it was a good, all in all, it was a good fight. It was a good fight, especially when you consider the fact that for weeks we had been talking about the Gennady Golovkin Canelo Alvarez. So it was good to see this fight get the kind of social media attention and all that it was getting because it really was that. And what I really like about it is Errol Spence is showing you I ain't got to go on Twitter rants. I ain't got to fucking be all crazy and not crazy and do shit. I ain't got to do that. All I got to do is get in and beat a motherfucker ass. Y'all will come watch me. That's all I got to do is come whoop a nigga ass. Y'all will watch that shit, especially with the way I'm beating a motherfucker ass. Oh, y'all going to check that shit out. And for all these people who had all this shit to say about when he going to fight somebody, well, tonight, yesterday, y'all saw why motherfuckers wasn't that eager to get. Like, there's a reason why both Sean Porter and Keith Thurman, when Floyd said, I want them to fight Earl for my title, they was like, hold on, wait a minute, Floyd don't run boxing. There's procedures. Yeah, there's a reason why the motherfuckers were saying that. There's a reason why they said that shit, and we saw it. But I definitely believe that Brook should go ahead on and fight Amir Khan. You're right about that, too, because Amir Khan is up there calling out the fucking loser and shit because he smell blood. So he should go ahead on and, he's going to get that motherfucking payday because it'll be, I hate to say this joke, but it'll be glass eye versus glass jaw. So he should go ahead on and get that fucking money.
Got two glass eyes. He got two glass eyes now.
Right. So he should go out there and get that motherfucking money. And all the UK fans learn something that Brownie ain't shit compared to the truth. So they learned that shit the hard way. But Errol Spence, moving forward, I like his attitude because they asked him, who you want next. He said, of course I want a champion. See, and that's the reason why this dude is likable, and that's the reason why he's a problem. he don't want that, feel me out. No, I want to be the best, and by being the best, like, I want to fight the motherfucker. But yes, I want Keith Thurman, and Keith Thurman, according to what the one guy said on the Showtime, they said Keith Thurman said something about, I have no problem fighting Errol Spence if we can make the deals right. So right then and there, when I heard that, I said, okay, here we go. Here we go with that shit.
You already know.
Here we go with that shit. I said, here we go. Here we go with that shit right there. So, but, hey, man, Errol Spence is going to be a force to reckon with. He's going to be a guy, in my opinion, especially with the way, when you think about the way Derek James be having these boys prepared with him and Jamel Charlo, and like you said, his conditioning, I believe some of the things he did was because his timing was off, because Earl hadn't fought since the summer of last year. He's one of those guys that has to fight. He's one of those guys that has to fight. I'm talking about the sloppiness of his punches. Now, the head moving and all that, we've been talking about that shit forever. I'm talking about, there were times his punches was a little sloppy, and his balance was kind of off, too. And because I've never seen Earl trip that much over somebody's feet. His balance is going to be better than that. And I think that may have a lot to do with him not fighting. But if he's one of those dudes that if he continues to fight repetitively and learn more, he's gonna be a man problem, because when I'm looking at names like Danny Garcia, nope. I'm looking at Keith Thurman, nope. I'm looking at Sean Porter, nope. I don't see it. I just don't see. I don't think they have all of the tools they need to beat him. And now we can throw that shit out about that boy's chin. He took some hard shots and kept coming, and that was one thing I liked is every time he got hit, he would let Brook know, no, motherfucker, I ain't done. I'm still, but that's you. That's you. When you're young, you can do that shit. When you get a little older, you're gonna be able to do it. So, like I said, good fight. I just want to know one motherfucking thing. Is we gonna stop, because everybody already is talking about him and Crawford and all. I'm like, man, can a motherfucker enjoy his victory? Like, can a nigga enjoy his victory? Can a motherfucker enjoy his victory? Let that man enjoy his victory. And everybody that didn't like him before and had shit to say, they're going to still have that shit to say. But, that's boxing, and it is what it is, man.
All right, let me pass on, but we're going to get a little bit deeper into the post-fight stuff as far as, some of the comments Spence was making and what we've seen in the aftermath. He mentioned he wanted to fight Keith Thurman. But of course, he's on the shelf, for the rest of the year. He mentioned Pacquiao, wanting to unify. Honestly, what do you see happening as far as him fighting Nets? As far as opponent-wise, what do you think he's going to do? And also, let me get your thoughts on Keith Thurman's little, tweet or Instagram photo? I think it was a tweet he made. Pretty much saying, he's the king, which is, true. He's the unified champ right now. But, he's shied away from the question before, you know what I'm saying? But now he's so eager to call him out, it seems like, on social media. So let me get your thoughts on that as well.
I got a different take on it. Let me first say is, Spence called out Thurman. Thurman is the king of the division right now. Pacquiao is also a king in his own right because he holds the WBO championship because Spence wants to unify. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what you're supposed to do. Now, from my take, if I was Spence, I would, because how the IBF is, take out the mandatory. The first, whoever the mandatory is, take his ass out first, because we don't know, with Thurman having a potential, he has a mandatory in Sean Porter. We don't know what the WBA do. The WBA might do if they have Lamar Peterson fight him. So, if I was Spence, I'll take out the IBF mandatory. Do that first. Get rid of him. That way, the IBF would not be in the way of a potential unification bout. And the same thing goes for Keith Thurman. Take out Sean Porter, because Sean Porter is the mandatory for the WBC belt. And once he does that, then they can unify. Now, to pick up on where you said about Thurman's comment on Instagram where he said he called out Spence. I never thought Thurman was ducking Spence. I never thought. Well, hold on. Because now it's kind of, I don't think he was Douglas Spence, and it kind of pisses me off. It kind of pissed me off because people was like, oh, now that Spence won the championship and Thurman calls him out, people are having a problem with it. Why was you didn't want to fight him then when he was a prospect coming up? Well, it was high risk, low reward. That's why when Mayweather said, hey, Bo, you just said it, how about one of y'all fight him for my belt? And that's why Keith Thurman said, hey, I'll do that, but you're going to pay me $10 million. This because it technically is a high-risk fight. Because if he lose, he wants the reward, not just to be that. If I lose, I want something to have because it's going to take a hit on his. He's going to lose his own, which I don't think that's the reason. But to lose to a prospect may not be a good look for a person who's a contender to be a champion, or if he was the WBA champion at the time, regular champion at the time, or interim, might not be a good look. But at least he has something in his pocket. I don't think he was stuck. Okay.
Let me say this. I agree with that point. That's a good point, and it's definitely something a different direction to look at this. But my biggest thing is the hypocrisy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Remember a long time ago when the WBA champion was Paulie Malignaggi, and Keith Thurman showed up to Paulie Malignaggi's post-fight press conference.
Reverse it. It was Thurman who just won his fight. He called out Paulie in the crowd, and Paulie called him out and said, "Why can't you just enjoy your victory?"
I thought Thurman was in the crowd. Paulie was at the podium.
No, Paulie was in the crowd. Thurman was at the podium.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
That's when Thurman went to "Don't Duck Me," and Paulie told this motherfucker, "It's about pride. Get your shit up."
Enjoy your victory. Enjoy your victory.
Yeah, I got all that. Y'all niggas took what the fuck I was going to say. God damn it. That's my point. Okay, since these niggas just said that, that's my point. Like, there's hypocrisy there because Paulie's like, you ain't fought nobody. That's what he kept saying. Kept saying that in the media. He said it there. You haven't fought anybody. And when Errol Spence is actually trying to fight him, he turns around and does the same shit to Errol Spence. That was my biggest thing. I understand what you're saying about losing to a prospect. You have a point there. But at the same time, Keith Thurman tries to say that he doesn't think he'll lose to anybody at 147. So if that's really the fucking case, then why don't you take the fight? If you have as much confidence as you try to say you do, as you try to portray to everyone that you do, right? Well, then why don't you take the fight then and get you that WBO belt? That's what he should have did. He has the utmost confidence. It's nothing. Beat his ass, get the WBO belt. What's the problem? Shit, I know for me personally, nigga, if a little prospect is trying to call me out and I'm trying to market myself as a guy that thinks he could beat anybody in the division, hands down, and I got a little fucking prospect that's in the way of me becoming the WBO champion, I'm like, yeah, nigga, matter of fact, give me the shit, I sign it right now, nigga, I'll fuck the little nigga up. I'm going to jump at the opportunity. I'm not going to say, well, you got to pay me $10 million. Because the reason why I would say that is because I'm not as confident as I'm trying to relate to the public. You see what I'm saying? And that's the fuckery that we're calling Keith Thurman out on, even with his post right now. I'm glad he did it. I'm not saying it was dumb and he shouldn't have done it, but it still is a testament to the idea that Keith Thurman may not really want this fight because he had opportunities to fight him before and show everybody that he is as confident as he says he is. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Actions speak a lot louder than words, fam.
Okay,
I definitely think he needed. I definitely think he needed to save face. You know what I'm saying? Because of all the questions that have surrounded his past interviews. I mean, so I think he did it to save face. Honestly,
there's one thing.
Hold on. Okay, because you know 2K come y'all going on. I still ain't finished my point, but go on, Bo.
No, go ahead. I'll say police.
Okay, this is what I was basically saying to speak on that. Now that Keith Thurman has called him out, people are having a fit saying, hey, well, what did Spence just do? He just beat Kell Brook. He beat a champion. Now that Spence is a champion, I don't see him. You say he's seen as him trying to say face. If that's the case, if he didn't say nothing at all, then we probably like, okay, why Thurman ain't saying anything? Now that he said something, it's a problem. Then the issue is, how convenient of him was it to have surgery right after the Porter fight and before the Spence fight.
Oh.
That way he'll be out for the rest of the year. He has a chance to come back within November and December, right?
Yeah.
With that being said, we don't know if he was working out or doing whatever he was doing to hurt his elbow. We don't have a clue. So before we sit there and assume, we don't know what could have happened.
Well, I don't share those sentiments. You know what I'm saying? Like I know a lot of people are saying that. I don't share those sentiments. I don't know Keith Thurman personally. I don't know, what happened. I really don't give a fuck. If the nigga say he injured, he got to be out till next year. Then it is what it is. I'm not saying that he's ducking Spence because of that. I'm saying he's ducked Spence because of all the fucking times that he's gotten interviews, and he's so fucking confident. But then whenever a interviewer mentions Errol Spence's name, the nigga changes his disposition. His demeanor becomes less confident and more concerned. Like, why are you asking me about this nigga? I'm in my element right now, and you brought this nigga's name and it fucked up my zone. That's how he acts, fam, and that's a fact. You can go back and watch all the older interviews, whether it's because
we can watch the recent one. With
But look, whether he did that because he thinks he's a prospect, it doesn't matter. He understands that Errol Spence is a fucking problem, and he's been a problem since before he fought Chris Algieri. And Keith Thurman knows this, fam. That's why he would change his demeanor. That's all I'm saying. It's obvious to me.
No, again, I respect your opinion. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm coming with. I'm not necessarily talking about you, but there's some people that feel, okay, now that he's calling him out, he's a champion. Can we just, for what is it? Hey, we want these unification bouts. I'm not going to complain. Now, for whatever reason, if something falls through on Keith Thurman's end, whereas he can't make the fight happen, then we'll probably need to look into it a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? As of right now, he's injured. He had elbow surgery. He's resting up, but he called him out. For you to call somebody out and you're injured, that's to me speaks a little volume too, because that means if that's the case, if you come back in November, December to fight Spence from that surgery, no excuses. If he even if he loses,
But you do understand that boxing is not going to hold him accountable if he doesn't fight fucking Errol Spence as soon as he comes back. Look at Tyson Fury. This nigga's called out everybody under the goddamn sun at heavyweight while this nigga still got a motherfucking crack pipe in his mouth and ain't nobody holding him accountable. You see what I'm saying? The nigga literally still got a motherfucking needle hanging out of his arm and he's calling out Anthony Joshua. It doesn't matter. You see what I'm saying? Boxing is not going to hold these niggas accountable. They're just going to be like, oh, yeah, that nigga, they're going to do exactly what you're doing right now in the future. Hey, he did call that nigga out. He's serious, even though he's fighting motherfucking Tom Cruise in his next fight. They're going to do exactly what you're doing right now. You see what I'm saying?
That's them. I'm going to call him out because I'm going to hold him to his word. Unless, like I said, certain issues, like I already stated earlier, you got the WBA and the WBC title. Porter could be next. Which is not a bad fight for Thurman because he already fought him. We probably know Thurman don't want to go back in there again because it's going to be a war. Then you got the potential fight with looming with Lamar Peterson if the WBA decides to consolidate the welterweight belts. Okay. Now, if he chooses to pick up a soft touch just to test his arm,
he should do that.
Okay. Like I said, give him a soft touch. With the chance of hoping for a unification bout with Spence next year, and let Spence take out the first IBF mandatory, so we can eliminate the IBF totally. That's just what I would hopefully happen if it can happen in an ideal world in boxing, but only time could tell.
Okay, but here's what I was going to say. The reason why Thurman changed this tune with the way he was talking, like you talking about the poly thing, is we see this happen in boxing a lot. Sometimes when you go from being the hunter to the hunted, you change your fucking tune sometimes. You be like, wait a minute, hold on, I got more at stake here. I got prestige. Floyd was on his way, and I'm trying to come up. Now, my only issue with Thurman, and this is why, if you look at how Thurman would, like 2K said, would talk about everybody. Like, I'm not mad at him for changing his tune because we've seen, like I said, we've seen this before when motherfuckers go from being hunted to hunted. My only problem with him was The way he was talking to Paulie, don't duck me. When I get there, don't you fucking duck me, dog.
Exactly.
Don't do me. Then he did it to Spence. Then
exactly.
the way he ran up on Danny Garcia, the way he ran up on Robert Guerrero, the way he ran up on Sean Porter, and he was talking that shit about this third daddy boy ass out in Whoop. He didn't do that when it came to Errol Spence. And when my issue is when you talking about because since you can't point about a prospect, because I said the same thing about Luis Ortiz, some contending prospect. Here's my problem. When you're talking about it, dude, everybody is telling you he is that motherfucker. Everybody is telling you they crowned him a champion before a title, right? So if you fight him, when you try to tell me what do I get from fighting him, with all the press these motherfuckers talking about, if you fight him and you do him, that increases your fucking value.
Yep.
That increases your value. But this shit about what has he done? Dude, you got everybody on this dude's tip telling you how good this fucker is. You got foreign stories about this motherfucker, whooping niggas' ass. So if you beat this dude, why man, what the fuck? You telling me you don't get credibility to beating a guy that everybody's saying should be a future champion? Because when it came to Luis Collazo, nigga, you didn't have the motherfucking problems. When it came to Danny Garcia, you ain't had the motherfucking problems. When it came to Porter and all these other motherfuckers, you ain't had these fucking problems. You ain't had these fucking problems when it came to them motherfuckers. But there's something about this dude right here that got you fucking shook. Just like Luis Ortiz, there's something about this motherfucker that got you niggas shook. And that's why I have a problem with keep changing his tune is because, and even Danny Garcia, what did Spence say? Oh, so you fight a motherfucker ass I done whooped already? Me?
Right, with Samuel Vargas, right, yeah.
Right, you see what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying, like, I was disappointed in him changing his tune like that. I wasn't surprised because we've seen it, but I was disappointed in him doing it because Keith has been barking at everybody. Floyd, Pack, every fucking body. He's been telling motherfuckers, don't duck me, I'm here, you got no choice, you got to fight me, that's bullshit, I want to prove it. But when it came down to Errol Spence, yo, man, that nigga got to get his weight up. Bullshit.
Straight change his voice up. Yeah, nigga. Yeah, keep one time, nigga. Ain't nobody fuck with me, nigga. Ain't nobody. Errol Spence. Well, I don't know. Hold on. He's actually got to fight somebody. That's exactly how it was. Fuck out of here.
I agree. I agree. It's just that the fact that I said it now though, but I agree with y'all say. I mean, I respect y'all opinion. You know.
Bo said, can a motherfucker enjoy his win? And we already talking about Terrence Crawford. Well, nah, he can't enjoy it. We actually going to talk about it right now, man, because this is a potential super fight. I say, late 2018, 2019 kind of thing, personally, as far as, when it can happen, if it does happen. The reason why I say I want to touch on it is because Crawford had a little tweet earlier that I was looking at. I kind of think it's in reference to Spence's fight with Brook. He said, I see what y'all don't see in these fighters, and had on his sunglasses, a bunch of sunglass happy faces. And, I'm thinking it was pertaining to, maybe something he saw in the Spence-Brook fight. I kind of want to go to 2K on this one just to see what he thinks about that as far as, what is Crawford really seeing? I'm kind of thinking, is there something as far as in Spence's movement or something, that he was seeing in the fight that he decided to tweet about today that I think is in reference to Spence, but, it's kind of indirect too. So
what did the tweet say? What did the tweet say?
It says, I see what y'all don't see in these fighters, and it's a bunch of happy faces with sunglasses.
Okay. Dude, what I just said in my breakdown of the fight, the type of fighter that I think beats Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford has those tools. The only thing we'd have to worry about is the size discrepancy because Errol Spence is actually big at 147. He can easily fight at 154, where Terrence Crawford is coming up from 135. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's the only thing that we'd have to worry about in Terrence Crawford that could go against Terrence Crawford. But if we're looking at skill for skill, you got a nigga that's a switch hitter who's equally devastating in both as an orthodox or a southpaw. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he has the skills to beat an Errol Spence. And he's actually cerebral to the point where I have him in the upper echelon of fighters when it comes to his IQ. I think he's much smarter than Errol Spence at this point in his career. I think he's comparable in brain power to Guillermo Rigondeaux, Andre Ward, and Floyd Mayweather right now. That's how good Terrence Crawford is. So hell yeah, if he's directing that towards Errol Spence, I think he has every right to, because he has the skill set to actually beat him. Actually, man, be honest with you, nigga, real talk, if motherfucker was telling me I need to pick somebody right now, I'm picking Terrence Crawford. Real talk.
I agree with 2K. I talked to my guy Danny about it right after the Spence fight. We talked on the phone, and he said himself, if Crawford goes against Spence, he got money on Crawford all day. Me too.
Yeah, I've actually been seeing that talked about in some of the rooms as well, man. It's definitely a potential blockbuster fight, as like I was just saying. I'm thinking it's gonna happen. I think Bud said he's coming looking for top guns as soon as he moved to 147. So, it ain't gonna be no long delays in it happening. So
will he need to move out of the top and get them top guns?
Well, that's going to be the issue. Look, we interviewed Red Spikes, and he said the exact same thing 2K said, is Bud Crawford's ring IQ is on the same scale as Floyd, Ward, and Rigo. He named them dudes. Them are the names he said in the interview.
And you know what, Bo? I ain't even watched your interview yet, so that's just great minds think alike.
Yeah, he said that in the interview. And he also said, because I asked him, if y'all can't get unification and you go to 147, are you going to take a fill-out fight? He said, hell no, we're going straight for a champion. We don't, Bud don't want that. I don't want that. There's too much time in training camp and money for what, a lower-class fighter? No, we're going to go straight for the title. So, and he said that. He said, because Bud is pretty big for 140. He can make 147 comfortable. They have to put on a little bit more muscle and stuff. But I definitely asked that. The only issue is, if he goes to 147, the certainty of a fight with one of those guys getting made, because of the whole Bob Arum and Al Heyman thing, and I believe Al Heyman wants to save Bud for Manny Pacquiao. When he's done milking Manny Pacquiao, then he'll probably pass him off. Arum. When Arum is done milking Manny Pacquiao, then he'll probably pass him off to Terrence Crawford. That's the only reason why I don't think if he goes to 147 that'll happen right away, because also on Heyman's side, Heyman right now has 3 of the 4 belts in his possession. He can make a super fight next year, middle of next year, whenever he wants to. So he's not going to mess that up. That's a lot of money. He's not going to mess that up by throwing a Terrence Crawford in there. So
that's why I said 2019, because I said that'll be enough time to clear all that other stuff up as far as with Keith Thurman and Spence. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I said it's more feasible then.
Right. But if we're talking money, but if we talking who will win, oh man, hands down, man, 9 times out of 10, Crawford beats him because of the one simple factor. Crawford will be the best boxer that Errol Spence has ever faced, and the smartest boxer he's ever faced, and that's the de facto right there for me is Terrence Crawford boxing. All them things that we said about not moving in, like Terrence Crawford would do. What Brook didn't do, he'll keep a jab in his face because he did that to Figgy Diaz. He'll keep a jab in his face. And can move in both
directions.
So moving left to right, up and down combinations, body head, dude, no, man. He'll beat him 9 times out of 10, not Crawford, easily.
All right, I just want to say congratulations to Errol Spence as well, and Derek James, who's been on the show with us. He actually did an interview with 2K, the guy, last week. Prior to the fight from over in the UK. So, shout out to both of them. He's building quite a stable down there in Dallas, potentially a 3rd world champion in Rob Brandt, who's, I think, mandatory for the WBO out of whoever wins that Kurt Cece and Billy Ho Sanders fight. So, I mean, he's doing some things down there with his fighters in Dallas, so big up to them. I was thoroughly impressed with his fight. I mean, I watched it again today, and I think it looked a little bit more impressive, honestly. it's a lot. It's real subtle. You know what I'm saying? People have yet to been able to pinpoint what this fight reminded them of. It kind of reminded me of Cesar Chavez versus Mildred Taylor. I mean, just a systematic breaking them down, pulling the fight out of them. That's pretty much what I saw, and that was the closest comparison I could get to as far as what I have seen historically in fights. What I saw last night. Spence imposed his will over time, and Brook was a stronger guy of the two. You could see it throughout the early in the fight. He was able to outmuscle Spence some of the times in the clinch, and put him off balance, by pushing him off. Spence was actually able to overcome that, with his output, to the body. So, big up to him on winning. I see a bright future for him. And I got one thing I want to put out there for the UK fans. I told you I was going to come with it. So here it is, a diss from your own UK band, Queen. Unless you're Kell Brook.
Damn.
Oh, shit.
Like Kell Brook.
Man, why are you messing with them like that, man? That's not cool, man.
And we done.
Shut up, Bo. Nigga, Bo, put your goddamn company man shirt on, nigga. Tell the nigga put your company man shirt on. Damn, man.
Hold on. Let's not forget what you did, Bo, with the boondock.
They fucked with us leading up to this fight ridiculously, man. Hell nah. Do what you do. I want the fuckery to last weeks, nigga, months. Hell nah. Fuck out of here, man.
Bo had a problem. Bo had a problem with that one. He had a problem with it. I know Bo didn't have no problem with that.
With all the stuff he did in Ring IQ with the boondock.
Yeah.
Come on now. I'm about to take that and put that on the Movie Bell page and give the award to the well, we'll wait and see. I got it though.
All right. With that said, I was just looking at the updated IBF rankings, and it's looking like, I said for Spence, he should go after his mandatory first.
Yeah.
But, he had the whole problem as far as, the top six didn't want to even fight him when he was trying to go through the eliminator. But it's looking like right now Luis Collazo is up there at number 4 and Carlos Ocampo at number 3. I suspect that Luis Collazo will be the one that gets that shot for Errol's first defense in Dallas, which he wants it to be. So I'm putting that out there right now just for you guys. That's what I suspect will happen.
Real quick though, on BoxingScene.com, they're talking about a potential Devin Alexander versus Luis Collazo on an undercard of.
I did see that as well.
Garcia, yeah.
If I'm Collazo, I'm paying attention to my rank right now and knowing I got a shot at a title, even though I'm gonna get the stuffing beat out of me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's pretty much how I be looking at it. But we'll see. They're saying this potentially on the Broner and Mikey Garcia card, which is we're gonna get into later. As far as that's one of our topics, so we'll get touch on that a little bit later, man. With that said, we're going to go into our next topic. It's looking like the WBC is set to order an interim title fight in the interim between Keith Thurman while he recovers from his injury. His elbow, I believe.
Yes.
It's looking like it's going to be a title fight or an interim title fight between Sean Porter and Danny Garcia. I want to get you guys' thoughts on this fight, man. I have some thoughts I'd like to share, but I'm gonna let y'all do your thing first, man. I'm gonna go ahead and start off with Bernard on this one, man.
On the Porter versus Danny Garcia. Wow. I would have expected Garcia to fight. Well, I know this is going to seem kind of crazy, but maybe not that far-fetched. I would expect Garcia to get not a tune-up, but fight another contender to boost his confidence back up after he lost against Keith Thurman. I would have expected him to get an interim title shot right after he lost his belt to go against to get a potential shot against Thurman. If that makes any sense, what I'm trying to say. To me, since the fight is going, potentially that fight happening, I think it's good. I would like to hopefully see that Danny Garcia is a little more aggressive, because the way Porter is aggressive, but now Porter is also saying, I don't know if y'all caught the Fight Hype interview, he's promised to change his style to be more cleaner when he fights and everything now. So I guess he won't be doing more headbutts and tackling and everything like that. So this potential fight, we would like, it's basically going to be see if there's going to be some improvement in style. But if it doesn't, I can see Sean Porter mauling Danny Garcia to a 12-round decision.
All right.
Unanimous decision. Excuse me.
All right. Let me go ahead and pass it on to TK. Let me get your thoughts on this fight, this possibility. Secondly, do you think Danny Garcia deserves to be in an interim title fight after losing his title just in his last fight? I don't understand what the fuck's going on with the WBC and their rankings. I would suggest I know it was a unification fight with, your boy was saying this last night, actually. So I'm going to let you speak on it as well. Do you think Danny Garcia deserves to be fighting for an interim title after losing his title, immediately?
Well, in a perfect world, no, right? But boxing's all about trying to make the best matchups that are going to have the best revenue come out of that. And, if you look at the welterweight rankings, let's see, we have Sean Porter and Danny Garcia at number 2. Number 3 is Jesse Vargas. Number 4 is Konstantin Ponomarov. And number 5 is Adrien Broner. Well, Adrien Broner already fought Sean Porter, all right? Konstantin Ponomarov is not going to make no money against Sean Porter. Jesse Vargas, Sean Porter is an easy fight for Sean Porter. That's not going to make no money. So you got Danny Garcia left over. You see what I'm saying? So, we can go down to 6. You got Carlos Molina. Adrien Broner already knocked him off. You got some nigga, I ain't even going to pronounce this nigga name, at number 7. He's Uzbekistan. That tells you right there, that's not going to make no money. You got Lucas Matisse at number 8. He just came back. That's not going to make no money. Ray Robinson at number 9. That's not going to make no money. He's still a prospect. And then you got Andre Berto, who Sean Porter already beat at number 10. So that's the WBC rankings from 1 to 10. That's all they got is Danny Garcia if they're trying to make money out of an interim title fight. You see what I'm saying? Now, with that said, I like the fight. I've been saying that I wanted to see a Sean Porter-Danny Garcia fight for some time now. I think, again, Danny Garcia is Danny Garcia is one of those guys that his IQ is underrated. And then Sean Porter's a guy that really is not the smartest tool in the toolbox, but his fucking conditioning, same as Errol Spence, allows him to maul over his opponents. You know what I'm saying? But I think Danny Garcia is smart enough to do what Kell Brook did, and that's catch him coming in. If you remember the Kell Brook fight, Brook didn't even really move that much against Sean Porter, man. He kind of stayed grounded in the middle of the ring. And whenever Sean Porter would fucking come in, he hit him with that check left hook and then hold his ass. Danny Garcia has the ability to do that. He actually looks for that particular punch when guys are applying pressure to him. So that's an excellent fight, man. Honestly, that's a 50-50 fight. Right now, without looking at any tape, analyzing any styles, in detail, I will go with Danny Garcia. Just because he's a smarter fighter in the ring and he has the tools to actually replicate what Kell Brook did to beat Sean Porter. So, I mean, I like the fight, man, and if it goes down, that's cool. But you know what? The one thing I was going to say is Al Haymon has so much control that we're watching what could be a title fight, right? A major title fight be a fight that's for a whack-ass interim belt. That's how much control he has at 147.
Wow,
I like it.
that is a great assessment on that one. Wow, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
All right, let me go ahead and pass it on to Bo. Let me get your thoughts on it as well. Do you feel Danny Garcia? Well, 2K spoke on it, but let me just get your thoughts on this fight being an hour, being announced in the interim as Pete Thurman is recovering from his injury.
Right. The only thing I disagree with 2K on is he's half wrong, half right. Luka Matisse and him is money because Luka Matisse just came off a knockout. But it's not the same kind of money you get for fighting Danny Garcia. That's the thing. It's not the same amount of money you get for fighting Danny Garcia. But
I think this is an even more exciting fight as far as stylistically, because it would be a war between them.
Exactly.
Danny will box a little bit more. So
I definitely
at number 8.
I definitely like this fight for Danny Garcia because I don't want Sean Porter to change the way he fights because Danny Garcia relies on you coming at him. Sean Porter is going to come at him. Danny likes you coming at him. He don't like to chase you down. He don't like to try to find you. He don't like moving his feet no more than the inch or two he needs to get to you. He don't like none of that shit. He wants you coming at him. That way he can launch at your body and everything else he likes to do. So
yes,
I like it. And I would kind of favor Danny Garcia in that aspect of that's the kind of fight as you coming at him. Danny Garcia is a good inside fighter. He throws better combinations and catches in between the combinations, and he's also smart. So I definitely like it. I would favor him. But the thing about it is, like you said, it's for an interim title. Well, do we really, right about now, these guys' careers, do these motherfuckers really need to be fighting for interim titles? They should be fighting for, hey, who got next? That's like, I want to see motherfuckers fight for who got next. Fuck the interim title, because you can get the interim title and hold on to that bitch like what you've seen motherfuckers do and never fight the fucking champion.
Well, that's just a formality. That's essentially what they're doing to fight who's got next. But throwing the interim title in there is a formality. Like, okay, this solidifies him as the next guy. That's all that shit is.
Well, quick question. I have a quick question. I just want to say this: is it kind of like, okay, Garcia lost his match against Thurman. He wants a rematch. But in order to get the rematch or whatever, you got to go through the number one contender, which is Sean Porter.
Mm-hmm.
Can we look at it? Can we look at it that way?
That's what we are.
Oh man.
No, I was done. I didn't ask the question. I was thinking to answer. But y'all just started busting out laughing. So excuse me, I had a tongue twisting. So excuse me.
Oh. What was the question, Bernard? I missed the question because y'all ass was stuttering like a bitch. What was it?
Damn, dog. That's how you really feel. Fuck you, Damn, man.
He said,
no, this wasn't, no, I can repeat let me repeat myself. You said that boy was shaking like booty, me tighten up. No. Now the podcast is I feel unsafe now, man. You know what I'm saying? Because of that.
Hell no. Hell no.
Nah, but for real though, I said this because Danny Garcia didn't get his immediate rematch against Thurman for losing his WBC title. Is it kind of like Garcia has to fight the number one contender, which is Sean Porter? Can we look at it like that?
I mean, if there was a rematch clause or something, I could see it being something like that, but there was no rematch clause in their fight, so I kind of think he should have to fight somebody, and this is the process it's the right process, as far as making him do a title eliminator.
Okay.
With that said, I definitely like the fight. You guys are picking Danny Garcia early. I actually think it could be reminiscent of this fight with Mauricio Herrera a little bit. Even though Herrera is a little bit bigger, longer than Sean Porter. But, he was high work rate in that fight. So I'm thinking it could look like that a little bit, possibly. And it could have some resemblance of other fights we've seen Danny where he counters the shit out of people, with his left hook. So, definitely a fight I'd be looking forward to, exciting for it to be just their interim title like you guys are saying. And we'll go ahead and get into our next topic from there, man. We got Miguel Cotto finally got an announcement for his fight. He'll be fighting Yoshihiro Kamegai.
Next topic.
For the vacant 154-pound WBA title. It will be under Golden Boy Promotions after he severed his ties with Rock Nation. Let me get you guys' thoughts. I hear the booing, but we got to go into it. It's news. It's a title fight. At that, yeah.
Oh my God, it is a title fight, motherfucker. I didn't even realize that. Oh
yeah.
My God.
No, hold on. Let me say this: Miguel Cotto is the number one contender to the WBO Junior Middleweight Championship.
But he fucking shouldn't be. And I'm not going at you, Bernard. You already know. This nigga ain't fought he ain't fought since November of 2015. And he lost that goddamn fight. Why the fuck?
That wasn't even at 154.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, good point, Bo. The nigga ain't fought at 154 since, let's see, October 2013 when he beat fucking Delvin Rodriguez. That was the last time he fought at 154. Get the fuck out of here. Ain't nobody trying to see that bullshit. Kamegai's sorry ass lost to Alfonso Gomez. He lost to him. Ew. He had a draw against Jesus. he had a draw against Jesus Soto Carras. Ew. Nigga, get the fuck out of here, man. I ain't trying to watch this. I will not watch this bullshit just like I wasn't watching James Kirkland. Matter of fact, I would have watched the James Kirkland fight over this because at least that fucking fight wasn't for no goddamn title. This fight, they got the motherfucking nerve to make it for a title, fam. Do y'all understand how bad this shit is? This is the most fucked I've seen in 2017 so far. It's the worst, dog. Yeah, I know, right? Kirkland was pay-per-view. This shit might be pay-per-view too, dog. Man, get the fuck out of here, man. I'm about to write me a formal letter to the WBO with a whole lot of curse words in that motherfucker. That's what I'm about to do. Fuck out of here, man. Bullshit.
And on that note, people, we're going to the next topic.
Kind of a shame that Yoshihiro Kamegai is fighting for a title. That's my biggest problem with this, man. Cotto, as well. He ain't fought nobody at 154 since 2013, like 2K was saying. He's been inactive for close to 2 years. So, his first fight shouldn't be for no damn title, especially at 154 with all the fucking people they got at that division. No, hell no. Would that have been active? That's a motherfucking disservice to the sport of boxing, man. And the WBO is faulty to the motherfucker for this money grab to get this percentage. We're starting to see the organizations do a little bit too much now as far as pursuing the almighty dollar. At the cost of having, some integrity with their fucking titles. With that said, I guess I kind of want to see what Bo got to say about this one since Bernard said he ain't got shit to say. Let me get your thoughts on this, Bo.
On what?
Exactly. That's the best comment. That's even better than my shit. On what?
Yeah, we talking about Cotto. Shit, I thought the show was over. That sounded like a final blow. 2K to me.
Oh man.
And HBO, which has been reluctant to put out fights this year anyway, And, they say the fights they do want to put on, they want them to be competitive. But yet they put on this shit. Let me get your thoughts as far as that, man. HBO's fucking quality, you know what I'm saying? And lies, basically lies. But let me get your thoughts, man.
So it's okay. It's one of those things with HBO where when you make a decision, and it's a fucked up decision, and you make another fucked up decision and another fucked up decision. So now you realize, wait a minute, we've been making a lot of fucked up decisions. Now you're scrambling for the right decision because each fucked up decision came from everybody sitting at the goddamn table. So you can't trust none of these motherfuckers at the table because they all gave you a fucked up idea. So you're scrambling, asking the secretary, asking the mailboy, what's a good fucking idea, instead of doing what? Asking the fucking customers to pay fucking customers, right? You want to ask us. So I'm not surprised by this at all, period. I mean, they don't have dates available. They don't know what dates they want. They don't have venues. They are really showing all of us that, at pretty much at this point, not only do they not know what they want to do, but they don't even I don't even think they too much care or even trying as hard as they should, because you got a lot of fights you can make. You got a lot of fights you can put on. You're telling me the last big fight, and I mean big fight as far as a quality fight we've seen on HBO, shit. What, Lomachenko and Sosa?
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
March.
Okay. And that was it, March. They got nothing else lined up until because even everything else is pay-per-view, so you got nothing else lined up. So, I mean, I'm not surprised for this right here, and I'm not surprised at Bob being mad about this and that they ain't nothing but a fucking network. And I'm not surprised about none of this. We saw this a while back when they had the change in management up there at HBO. They are, and matter of fact, we talked about the thing that Jim Lampley said about them. They are scrambling. This is what scrambling looks like. When you don't know what the fuck, you can't get nobody at this table to give you an idea because you can't trust the idea because everybody at the table to give you a fucked up one. So you're scrambling. Like, well, Cotto, yeah. Throw him on, and let him fight a sushi delivery boy. Let him fight him. There we go. We'll make some money off that shit. Where we gonna place it at? What city? What town? What country? Is there a venue there? What? What can we do? And that's what that shit sounds like. That's why, like I said, you just had Terrence Bud Crawford beat Felix Diaz. You got 1 million views. You should be lining Bud Crawford up for his next fight. We're hearing nothing. It's ghost. Like I said, Lomachenko fought Sosa in March. We're hearing nothing about his return. Usyk, we're hearing nothing about his return. Like you guys gave us them 3 guys on the card to introduce them to us. We're hearing nothing about their return. The only thing that I did like I heard was a possible Noe versus Gonzalez that they might put on TV. But that's it. Like that's it. Like, does anybody remember this being HBO? Normally we would hear about good fights all the time, or at least for the first 6 months. So I'm not surprised by this, man.
Shit. That said, I was saying, Cotto, he'll be working with Golden Boy Promotions for this fight after leaving Rock Nation, which we're hearing. There's some rumors. I don't know how true this is right now, that they may be ceasing operations after the Andre Ward card in June or at the end of this year. That's what I've been hearing, so I'm not sure.
They should. They should lock their fucking doors and burn down that section of the building. They fucking should. They fucking no. I'm being serious. I ain't trying to jump in on. I'm being serious. Think about something for 1 second. Had it not been for the fact that Andre Ward had a 3-fight contract, what the fuck are they gonna do with him? Mm-hmm. Because you can't sit there and tell me you're Rock Nation. You can't sit there and tell me you can't get a fight for Rigo. He always got to fight a Ward undercard. Okay. Same thing with Cotto.
Cotto undercard.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Cotto. Y'all couldn't, after Cotto fought Canelo Alvarez, but then again, that's kind of Cotto, Cotto self-induced that, but you motherfuckers allowed it. Why? Because you gave an AG fighter all this fucking money, and then he decided to become a businessman instead of a fighter on your ass, and these are the kind of moves he fucking made. Okay, so they should. They should burn that side of the building. The shit when Kathy Duber was coming out saying shit about, certain things about Andre Ward not want to sign up on the judges, they PR is shit. No PR, no, that's bullshit. Kathy Duber signed off on this. They PR is shit. They PR. If I'm a person with Rock Nation, I'll be at Jay-Z house. Yo, dog, you reading this? What the fuck you gonna say? We gotta say something back, dog. They fucking up my name out here, homie. So, hell yeah. They should burn They should burn that side of the goddamn building and get out that shit quick.
I don't think their talent scouting was that good either. I mean, they got Mo Hooker, which I'm still kind of suspicious about, especially after that goddamn Perez fight. But he's worked with Terrence Crawford and gotten a big name off of sparring with him, pretty much up to this date. So, I mean, they didn't really have much going as far as prospects. The downside is we may see Rigo go inactive again. Having to look for, go through the promotional thing again. So, I mean, that's the downside to this, to that part. But anyways, we're going to get into our next topic. It's looking like the WBA is stepping in, to make up for some of the things we saw last week, in last weekend's fight as far as decisions, weird decisions. They're ordering rematches between Hasaan N'Damn and Ryota Murata, as well as in the Rances Barthelemy and Kiryl Relikh fights. Let me get you guys' thoughts on those fights. Do you guys think they needed rematches? Did they need to be ordered? I'll go ahead. I guess since 2K jumped out and said, yeah, I'll go ahead and let them start out with this one. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they do. But as far as the Hasaan N'Damn fight and Ryota Murata, I don't think it was a robbery like a lot of people are saying it was. I had Murata winning, but it wasn't. I mean, I had motherfuckers come to my channel talking about, man, Hasaan N'Damn and Jickum didn't even win 2 rounds, which is completely false. I mean, he won. He could have won 5 rounds in that fight. You know what I'm saying? And I had him winning 4 to 5 rounds. Murata should have walked away with the victory, but he didn't, and I can see why the fight was that close in the judges' eyes. I mean, it is what it is. So they're getting a rematch, which is good. It'll give Murata an opportunity to right the wrong that everybody seems to be siding with him on. And as far as Rances Barthelemy, the Relikh fight, that was definitely a fucking robbery, and I love Rances Barthelemy. You know what I'm saying? That was a robbery. He lost that fight. I went back and watched it. He fucking lost. You know what I'm saying? He didn't fight the right fight. He did kind of the same shit he was doing against Denis Shapovalov, you know what I'm saying? And I said in that fight, I said he cannot ever do this again. He actually did a little bit of it against Mickey Bey, and that's why that fight with Mickey Bey was closer than it should have been. And then he came in here and did the same thing against Relikh. So, yeah, he should have lost the fight. Relikh deserves a rematch. The thing is, with Rances Barthelemy, he's good enough. See, this is what pisses me off about him. Dude is not a dumb fighter, and his track record will say otherwise, how he fought those other 2 guys I mentioned, but he's really not a dumb fighter. He's actually a very skilled fighter, and he knows what he's doing in the ring. He just chooses to do other shit at stupid times, and maybe that's a test. It sounds just like a testament of him not being very smart, but I think he's smart enough to understand that in the rematch, he can't do exactly what he did in the first fight. So in my opinion, the rematch is not going to do Relikh any type of justice because he's going to fuck around and lose the rematch. I think Barthelemy is going to make the necessary adjustments needed to beat him, and that's what sucks about some of these decisions in boxing. A lot of these cats, man, when they put their motherfucking heart on their sleeve and they go out there and have the best performance they could have ever done, and they get robbed, and then you say, well, hell, do it again. Some of these motherfuckers can't do it again. You know what I'm saying? And Relikh is one of them dudes. That was the fight he should have won. Now you're asking this nigga to do it again. He's not going to be able to do it. He's going to lose. But I do think Murata can actually do it again because N'Dam's not a very smart fighter. And that was my biggest thing about him. He's an athletic fighter who doesn't really use his brain often. So Murata can actually go in there and actually replicate what he did, what I thought won him the fight the first time. So, yeah, cool. I like the rematch, and I'll definitely watch him. And I'm glad that the WBA is actually ordering this, to actually go down. I wish they would have said something about the Daniel Jacobs versus Gennady Golovkin robbery.
Ooh. Ooh. Let me go to Bernard, man. Let me get your thoughts on these rematches being ordered. And what kind of results do you see happening the second time around?
It's pretty much I agree with 2K on everything. That's really there's nothing really to say because as for the Murata N'Damn fight, I think I told y'all last week I had it 115, 112 N'Damn, but when I rewatched it again, it was 114, 113 Murata again. In this second fight, I will hope Murata puts that jab out a little bit more. Continue with his aggressiveness. Being aggressive, it got to be really effective. Pop that jab out. Get a little more pep in his step and get on N'Damn and do what you need to do. As for N'Damn, he utilized the ring, constantly kept moving, land his combinations and pop out. See, the issue with that calling that fight a robbery is because it was in Japan. And I had already saw how just like we watched the fights yesterday with the UK broadcast, how the broadcast team tend to be very biased toward their, I guess, hometown or home country fighter. So for them to scream robbery, I guess they thought he should have won. It wasn't like that. So with that being said, I see Murata will have to. It's gonna probably be it's still gonna be a 50-50 fight. Murata's going to do a little bit more to get the W in my eyesight. He'll probably get the decision though this time. And as for Rances and Relikh, I agree with 2K. That's all I'm going to say on that point.
All right. Considering this has a Cuban in the topic, we got to let Cuba Loca from Figueroa finish it off. Let's get your thoughts on these rematches, bro. Starting off with Rances.
You motherfucking right. They should have ordered a fucking rematch. You motherfucking hell goddamn they should order a rematch. The thing with Rances, and he said this, the reason why he's changed the way he fights is because he don't want people to call him a boring fighter. And the problem I have with that is nobody was saying it about you, number one. And at the very least, even if they tried to, you was looking impressive and stopping guys. That's secondly. Okay? So why are you changing something that hasn't happened to you fucking yet? And if they saying it, so fucking what? Like, and I'm not trying to talk about him because I like him, but why, like when did you become that significantly known to where motherfuckers is even looking at you to say that shit about you? you have a title at 130, 135, right? I'm just saying, the old titles at 130, 135.
Yeah.
Outside of those of us right here, who the fuck was talking about Rams?
Nobody.
So why the fuck are you worried about changing this title? Wait, I don't want to become the boy. What the fuck are you talking about, dog? Ain't nobody even started like ain't nobody even started giving you attention like that. Only reason why you getting that attention now is because you were in 140 and that's Terrence Crawford's division, and they're looking for a challenger for him. And fighting the way you fought, I don't want to be called bored. Yeah, well, you fight like that against Terrence, you ain't gonna have to worry about it because you ain't gonna hear him say shit to you. You're gonna be on the ground. That's what the fuck will happen. You ain't gonna have to worry about that if you fight like that. So yeah, they should have ordered this fight. I hope he goes back. I know he's been working with Solid, so I hope he goes back to Mundo. Joel Casamayor was in his corner his lifetime. You know, that was his lifetime dream to have that. So, but no, man, he needs to find that range that was fighting at 130, 135. That what was getting you the victories with no problem. Like 2K said, you have the skill set. Stop worrying about something happening that hasn't happened yet. And if they call you boring, fuck them. As long as you're winning, see, people can call you boring, but as long as you're winning, they motherfuckers still got to put you in fights. If you're not fucking winning, if you lose, then you're fucking done. You're going to be cast aside because the thing is to work your way into for a championship fight. So I'm not upset with them reordering the fight. I actually, I wish they would do more of it. And to piggyback on what 2K said about the WBA, I'm going to take it a step further. I like to know why the WBA is reordering the fight for a title that we thought Gennady Golovkin had in the first goddamn place. So why the fuck is that shit going on with WBA? See, WBA stands for We Bitch a Lot. Because that's all these motherfuckers do. They bitch a lot. They stand for We Bitch a Lot because that's all they do. They talk about, we're going to drug test. I ain't seen that shit yet. We talk about consolidation. I ain't seen that shit yet. But they, you know what I'm saying? They just bitching. They just bitching and bitching and bitching. That's all they are. We bitch a lot. So
yep.
It is what it is.
Yep.
I just want to say I'm in agreement with you guys pretty much on everything you guys said. The rematches are definitely well deserved. I just want to say as well, I think Rances probably walks away with the second time around, but I think he definitely has a better showing. I don't know. I think he knows what he did effectively in that fight, and will stick to it. He'll be smart enough to, and especially the body attack. I think he'll utilize that a lot more. That seemed to hurt Relikh, who was putting in his output 100 plus fucking punches a round. You know what I'm saying? You got to slow his ass down early, man. So, and I mean, he saw that later in the fight when he got him hurt, or not hurt, but he knocked him down and was able to hurt him a couple times actually later in the fight to the body. So, I expect to see that next time around as well. And I think as far as Murata, I think he knocks out N'Damn in the second fight. So, I mean, we'll be looking forward to that. And just another tidbit on that. I think the judges involved in those fights were suspended.
Yeah, all three.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
you the one that had Murata winning? You the one that had Murata got suspended too?
Yeah, the only one. Go ahead.
No, I said, see again, we bitch a lot. You suspend the ones in the Murata fight, but you don't suspend them judges in the Gennady Golovkin fight.
No. But Bo, what I'm asking is, did you also suspend the judge that had Murata winning? That's what I'm asking.
The only thing I seen was it said the judges were suspended. There wasn't any stipulation on which ones. They just said the judges.
Judges. Yeah, judges.
Yeah.
Yeah, they suspended only two of the judges from that fight.
Okay.
So I'm the one that had Murata winning. I was suspecting was in the clear.
They need to spend their own ass. That HMO goddamn bullshit fight.
I mean, it's good to see that they got some kind of checks and balances there at least. I mean,
what fucking checks and balances? Stop, man. They ain't got no goddamn checks and balances. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had that bullshit with Luis Ortiz's bullshit. With fucking.
I'm talking about as far as the judges. I ain't talking about all that. One thing has nothing to do with the other.
Dog, you said what fucking checks and balances these motherfuckers got, dog? You had Vladimir Klitschko and Anthony Joshua fight for a title that you didn't have a champion holding the title for. Don't tell me you motherfuckers got checks and balances. They bitches. They fucking home.
For the second week in a row, I'm gonna be calm about it, man. I ain't gotta do all that Peter Brady all that Peter Brady pitchy shit. I ain't gotta do all that pitchy shit. I ain't gotta do all that pitchy Peter Brady stuff. Going to Cuba and shit. I ain't gotta do all that. I ain't gotta do all that. So I'll stay calm once again. We were talking about judges. We were talking about judges, Bo. We were talking about the judges, Bo.
Oh shit.
Are you done with your timeout, Bo? Are you ready to come outside and play again, Bo?
As long as you're stupid and check them out.
Oh God.
Shit. I'm about to go into my cam home and pull your motherfucking whole card on goddamn casualism. Talking that check and balances. What?
Don't you ever, matter of fact, man, let me pull you out on that. Don't you ever play no West Coast shit trying to talk about some shit like that to me, nigga. Nah, don't you ever do no shit like that again. Let that be the last one. Well, we're going to get into our next topic, man. This is a pretty good one. We've seen a little article. It's just a rumor right now, but we also had a follow-up that Bernard mentioned. as far as Luis Collazo going against Devin Alexander, possibly on the undercard of this potential bout between Adrien Broner and Mikey Garcia. Bernard has some information that he actually posted about it earlier, so I'm going to let him go and speak on this one first, man.
What did I post?
Adrien Broner and Mikey Garcia.
Oh, why that fight?
Oh man,
Where do we get these niggas from, Quan?
Come on.
Hey, look, I don't even remember the post, but
pretty Mikey Garcia. Ellie sacked back with Mikey Garcia in the gym. So what he hasn't heard about the fight?
Oh, he said he hadn't heard about the fight.
Man. Just ruining the flow. Just ruining the goddamn flow. I set you up perfectly for a goddamn slam dunk, nigga, and you done fucked the shit up.
That nigga missed the slam dunk and the layup afterwards, nigga. Just terrible, nigga. Just get a ball to the other team.
Damn, man. You know what? I gotta. With that being said, let me go on the bench, man. 2K, you back in the game, dog.
Man, look here. Only thing I got to say about this is I don't know anything about that particularly. But the only thing I got to say is Adrien Broner needs to stay away from Mikey Garcia and get fucked up. You know what I'm saying? That's not a good fight for Adrien Broner. The stylistically, as soon as I seen it, I was like, bro, that's not a good fight for him, man. He's too wide. That wide ass stance is gonna get him murked. Now, the thing about AB is, you can beat him two different ways. You can outbox him, which hasn't happened yet, right? But if you're comparing styles, he can be outboxed by a mover, or you can apply pressure to him and make it to where he can't go anywhere because the stance is too wide. So in both of those scenarios, you got a mover who's doing too much moving around the ring and boxing from the outside. Adrien Broner is too much of a person that has a wide stance and moves at a slow rate. He won't be able to catch him. Then you got the aggressive guy who's basically just mauling this nigga. He don't have time to recover and recuperate, from being mauled. So, yeah, man, Mikey Garcia will outbox the shit out of AB, bro. I'm almost getting ready to say 120 to 108. You know what I'm saying? AB don't win a round, maybe. If he went around, I get a nigga maybe 2 to 3 rounds tops. You know what I'm saying? That's not a good fight for him. But I'm not sure exactly what. I don't watch Ellie Setback, you know what I'm saying, for a reason. So I don't know what the fuck he said to. Yeah, I don't know what went down between him and Mikey Garcia.
I only did mention it because Bernard posted it. I don't necessarily like Ellie. Like I said, I told you I've had my run-ins with him, and it's not really. I don't like my dealings with him, but like I said, he was in there with Mikey Garcia directly talking about it, so that's why I gave it a listen. Pretty much Mikey said his plan is he would like to get a unification bout at 135.
I agree.
He had anything about the fight with AB. Personally, it was mentioned one time that somebody said they liked the fight, but they haven't gone into any kind of contractual talks or anything like that. Robert Garcia actually said the fight would happen, in another interview this year too. So I mean, I don't know why he would put that out there as well. When Mikey is saying he hasn't had any kind of contractual about the fight.
Well, you know what, Mikey Garcia is kind of finicky though, man, when it comes to that, because if you remember, back when everybody under the sun knew that Mikey Garcia versus Yuri Gamboa was being talked about. Whenever we would talk to Mikey about it, he would be like, nah, man, I haven't heard anything. There's nothing going on. So he's known for doing that. Like, if, a fight with him is being talked about, he likes to play the guy that doesn't really know anything. That's what he does to the media. And maybe that's just, him being primed or, prepped throughout his career and not to talk too much to the media, or else, shit could backfire. That's probably what that is. But, if he can make that unification shit happen at 135, I'm all for it. That's one of the reasons why.
Jorge Linares.
That's one of the right. That's one of the.
Oh, see, that was also they also spoke about that in there, and I mean, it seems like it's a fight Linares doesn't necessarily want. I mean, that was the notion they
Yeah.
You know, he gets knocked the fuck out. That was pretty much the notion I got from the video, from Melly's video as well.
Yeah, I agree. Linares ain't trying to fight that dude, man. But I want to talk about the second fight real quick. You said Louis Collazo and Devin Alexander. I'm gonna say the same shit. I'm gonna say the same shit to AB or to Devin Alexander that I would say to AB. Don't take that fight, especially with Devin Alexander losing the sorry ass, garbage ass, trash man Aaron Martinez in his last fight. You don't need to be going in there fighting a Louis Collazo right now, a man that just knocked out a highly touted prospect in Sammy Vasquez. That's not a good fight for him, especially coming off of a fucking layoff. That's not a good fight for Devin Alexander. And to be honest with you, it seemed to me that in his last fight, he doesn't really be listening to his trainer anymore. His trainer was giving him the correct game plan to go out there and outbox Aaron Martinez, but Devin Alexander elected to fight toe-to-toe, head-to-head on the inside against a guy that's all he really could do, and the only strategy he could execute to actually beat Devin Alexander. If Devin would have been Devin, just outboxed this nigga, used his superior hand speed and footwork, he would have beat the hell out of Aaron Martinez with ease, 120 to 108, possibly knocking him out. But that's not what the fuck he did. So with that said, I'm not interested in seeing Devin Alexander fight anymore. And when I'm watching his goddamn trainer give him the correct game plan to actually, lead him to victory, and he chooses to do otherwise. And plus, I'm definitely not willing to watch him fight a guy who's been, he's been reinvigorated multiple times in his career. And Louis Collazo, he'll lose a fight, then he'll beat a prospect. He'll lose a fight, then he'll beat a highly ranked contender. He'll lose a fight, then he'll come back. Well, I mean, this is the same thing here. He's going to fight a guy that's been on a layoff. It should be an easy win for Louis Collazo. I'm not trying to see that shit. So, to Devin, don't take that fight, dog.
Yeah, and I don't think Devin can beat Devin anymore, honestly, man. He's been different since the Timothy Bradley and, Sean Porter fights, Like, he just ain't the same Devin to me. That, was highly touted and had even Floyd Mayweather, co-signing for him. And, he just ain't that Devin no more to me. But I want to get Bo's perspective as far as the Adrien Broner and Mikey Garcia fight possibly happening. Is this an issue to where PBC may have too much power? Because I necessarily don't like this fight. I don't think it's good for AB, like 2K was saying. He hasn't really shown us anything in the last couple of years that makes me think he could do anything competitive in this fight. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, he's just he's getting these opportunities based off of popularity and having a name. So I'm like, is this one of those things where, PBC has too much power? Because I'm like, I don't think this is necessarily a good fight on paper at all. It's just really the popularity of Broner that can sell the shit. So let me get your thoughts on that.
Interview I had with Robert Garcia, he did say that the biggest issue is going to be weight, because Adrien has trouble making 140, but they be willing to do 141 or 142. So there has been some discussion about that fight. So, but if they can't get that, they would rather unify. They looking at Flanagan. Somebody mentioned Jorge Linares, but Jorge Linares seems like he's ready. So, they're looking at Flanagan and maybe even later on Robert Easter Jr. But I'm with 2K. Adrien Broner does not need to take that fight. See, the thing about Adrien Broner is he was sold, to those who don't know boxing, right? He was sold as the next up-and-coming elite fighter. Adrien Broner's always been a B-level fighter. Even if you go look at the fight he had against DeMarcos, I said, now that was a turning point for him because of the way he beat him. But he's regressed considerably since then. He don't throw his hands as much, okay? He tries to use a defense that he don't know how to use fucking correctly, which is the Philly shift. He don't know how to use that fucking defense correctly. So he tried to use a defense that he doesn't know how to use correctly. Mike Donna showed us that the boy got holes in his game because, again, he don't let his hands go. He's very fast, but he doesn't move exceptionally well either. So, no, this is not a fight you want to take against a guy who just came off possibly the biggest knockout. The way he knocked out Z, No, you don't want to fight a guy like that coming off something like that. And then when we want to talk about quality level of opponents, when was the last time he beat a true quality opponent that we talking about? Because like you said, he lost to Sean Porter. You know, he's being fed guys like Ash and Theophane and stuff like that, you know, just to keep his confidence up, because the nigga probably can be suicidal at times. I mean, he don't know whether he want to kill himself. He don't know whether he want to be mad, and then when he's mad, he don't know what the fuck he mad about. And then he want to jump on motherfuckers that's weight classes below him and say, you a little nigga. What I'm doing fucking with you? Yeah, right. I feel the same way. What the fuck you doing fucking with him? Shit, move on. Move yourself out of this shit. So, no, man. That's not a good fight for AB. And I also agree with Devin Alexander. Oh, no. Don't you fight Luis Collazo. Don't you do those shit like that. Fight Luis Collazo after the way he beat that man, Sammy Vargas, and you just coming off of a layoff. And Devin Alexander is another one. Like, when was the last time that motherfucker looked impressive? When was the last time he's another one that has regressed? Like, when was the last time you looked impressive, dog? You know? So, no, man. Neither one, AB and them, they should look to take these type of opponents, man. I don't even know what AB should do, because he can't make 140. And at 147, it's no, man. Well, I mean, unless he's not going to fight one of the top guys. If he's going to keep taking on the second tier guys and clear away for the top guys, fine. But nah.
All right, so we're gonna get into our next topic, which is the rematch between Leo Santa Cruz and Abner Mares. It's looking like it's gonna be the week before Canelo and Golovkin in September. So you know, we got the Mexican takeover for the the first half of the month at least. You know what I'm saying? Let me get you guys' thoughts on this rematch initially. Do you guys think it plays out the same with Mares switching trainers again? Do you think there's anything he can do differently to win, or do you see it being, any more competitive second time around? I'll go ahead and start with Bernard on this one.
You know what? Who did Mares have in his corner when he fought against Cruz the first time?
I forgot.
Because now he
did switch trainers when he fought Cuellar.
Yeah, so he got Garcia. I would in this bout, I would look to see Mares not go toe to toe with Cruz, not go into that. Let's go in there and slug it out and try to prove one. I think he'll try to box.
He's working with. Let me. Sorry to interrupt you. He's working with Robert Garcia now.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay.
So I look for him to go in there because of the Cruz got the read advantage. Look for Mares to go in, get on the inside, land his combos, pop out. Look for him to box like he did against Cuellar. Try to get on the inside, get his combination in, get out. And if he does that, he could hopefully cruise to a unanimous decision. That's not my prediction, but if he does that, all Santa Cruz got to do is get Mares to fight his type of fight like he did last time. A high output, fest, go toe-to-toe all over the ring like they did last time. And pretty much he could probably beat Mares with that game plan like he did last time. So,
all right. Let me go ahead and get TK's opinion on this, man. Since you are good at the breaking down styles, and we actually seen Leo Santa Cruz just outbox someone, in his last fight. I mean, so that brings a whole nother dynamic into this rematch with Mares, who's switching to Robert Garcia as his trainer. Let me get your thoughts as far as what you see stylistically. Do you see anything playing out differently as far as the outcome and the style of the fight?
Yeah, man. The first time this fight went down, I wasn't really too big on it because Abner. I wasn't sold that Abner Mares really truly recovered from the Johnny Gonzalez fight. I mean, he had fought, some guys that really nobody cared about. It was like 3 different guys, and then he fought Leo Santa Cruz. But after watching his fight against Jesus Cuellar, man, it is clear Robert Garcia has tapped into something that Abner Mares has lost since beating Anselmo Moreno back in 2012. Robert Garcia has tapped back into that Abner Mares. To be honest with you, that particular Abner Mares will give Leo Santa Cruz a very tough fight. You're mentioning of Santa Cruz actually outboxing somebody. That's not what he needs to do to beat Abner Mares, actually. To beat a Carl Frampton, yes. To beat a Abner Mares, no. He needs to actually apply pressure and continue to throw 1,000 punches around. That's how he beats Abner Mares. That's how he beat him the first time. That's how he needs to beat him this time. But I think, Abner becoming that boxer, the methodical boxer he was prior, that actually applied effective aggression similar to, I'm not saying that he fights like Errol Spence, I'm just saying he applied effective aggression that was similar to Errol Spence. His attack was methodical. Man, I think that's going to be a problem for Leo Santa Cruz, simply because if you use more of your IQ against Leo, make him pay for the mistakes that he's making, you can beat him. And that's what Carl Frampton did in their first fight. That's what he failed to do in their second fight. And I think Mares can do that with Robert Garcia. It's an excellent fight, man. To be honest with you, I don't know who fucking wins it. I'm leaning towards Santa Cruz because we saw a different Santa Cruz against Carl Frampton. I don't think hopefully his dad isn't dumb enough to tell him to come in as that Santa Cruz for Abner Mares. So I think he'll go back to the old Santa Cruz, high volume, high pressure. And I think I still think that beats Abner Mares. But it's really truly a 50-50 fight because of the change-up that Mares has gone through.
All right. Well, let me get your thoughts on this one as well.
Yeah, I definitely like this fight. I think, 2K and 2K was saying that because Robert Garcia definitely tapped into Abner Mares. He fought a little differently now. Leo Santa Cruz will have the height advantage and the reach advantage. So that's going to be something Mares have to overcome. But he can overcome it without trying to fight the way he fought, because he thought the way he could overcome the height and reach was to just, try to make it a slugfest. And no, Leo wasn't having any of that. What you have to do with Leo is like what Carl Frampton did in the first fight, which is make him uncomfortable. And how do you do that? You got to give him looks. You got to give him angles. You got to, give him different punch variations. That's how that's pretty much how you get him. So, yeah, I actually like it because it's a different Mares that we're seeing. So I definitely actually like it. He has a good chance of winning, and of course, but at the same time, he can't just allow Leo to rip off them combinations. See, because that's what Leo wants to do. He just wants to outwork you. That's it. If he can outwork you, he's cool with that. So it's a good fight. I can't sit here and it's a good fight. I just would like to see some of these other guys at 126, get in that mix. The Gary Russells, you know what I'm saying, the Lee Selby's. I like to see some of them other dudes get in that mix. But it's a good fight for right now.
Yeah, Abner Mares seems like the only one that wants to fight Gary Russell, and he only owns a regular title right now with the WBA. So Gary's looking for a unification. So we'll see if the outcome is different. Maybe that's a fight that gets made. We're gonna go into our next topic from here. Bernard, you got anything for the fuckery of the week, man?
The fuckery award goes to the UK fans for calling. I mean, y'all pretty much been going in on all weekend, Bo especially. I was gonna say this: y'all called Tank Davis, Jeff Lacey, and called Joe Calzaghe, Liam Walsh. Y'all said Kell Brook was Joe Calzaghe and Brook was going to be Jeff Lacey. Well, both of them motherfuckers got knocked out 2 weeks in a row. As of right now, the U.S. is 2-0 against UK fighters this year. I may be wrong, but in terms of big fights, we 2-0. So, eat crow, and y'all get the award for this week.
We're going to start our breakdowns of this weekend's upcoming fights, bigger fights, as we call them, title fights as well. We actually got a minimum weight fight as well we're going to be talking about. We're going to start off with that one, actually. We got, he goes by a couple of names, but we're going to go by the Wanhen Menayothin. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the easiest one to pronounce. He'll be going against Omar Kimweri, defending his WBC strawweight title. I'm gonna let 2K do this one because he's pretty much the expert with these weights. I have done a little bit of looking at both of the fighters as well. Of course, we talked about Menayothin 20 times on here before. But as far as the other opponent, I was able to look at some of his stuff earlier. But I'll let 2K break this fight down and get into his prediction.
Man, Wanhen Menayothin, man, 46-0 with 17 knockouts. I think it's truly funny how nobody's talking about how he's approaching that 49-0 possibility of tying Floyd Mayweather and Rocky Marciano. And this is mainly because these dumb fucks out here don't know anything about these smaller weights. They don't watch all 17 divisions, nor do they. Even if you don't watch, you don't even do research. You only care about, the big fights, the big name fighters. You're not a true boxing fan. You know what I'm saying? So this will possibly be another fight where he goes, he puts another win in the win column, becomes 2 fights away from tying Floyd Mayweather and Rocky Marciano. But I'm going to say not so fast on this one because Omar Kimweri, man, this motherfucker has the tools to beat Wanhen Menayothin. I say that because he's a boxer from the outside, man. Wanhen and his counterpart knock out CP Freshmart, respectively 1 and 2 in the division, right? Those 2 guys are known for applying relentless pressure to the point where it breaks down their opponent and they're able to take over the fight. Now, Menayothin doesn't have this high, this impacting power like a Gennady Golovkin or, maybe a Sergey Kovalev or Marcos Maidana. He doesn't have that kind of power, but he does break motherfuckers down to the point where they don't want to fight anymore. Even though they're in the fight may go to a decision, they've completely lost their mojo in the fight. That's how Wanhen Menayothin gets at cats. You know what I'm saying? With that said, if he's applying that relentless pressure in that manner and he doesn't have the right snap on the right kind of fighter who's able to box from the outside, well, then that boxer will be able to beat him pretty fucking easily. All right? Kimweri does have some L's on his resume. He has 3 losses, but he lost to Shin Ono. Shin Ono was a guy that was recently beaten by knockout CP Freshmart. But Shin Ono he's a boxer. So in that fight, it was boxer versus boxer. When we're looking at guys that apply a lot of pressure against Kimweri, he's pretty much beaten more of those type of fighters on his resume. He's 16-3 with 6 knockouts. You know what I'm saying? So I think this fight actually plays in Kimweri's hands, even though he's probably the huge underdog in this fight. If he does exactly what he knows he can do in the ring against Wanhen Menayothin, man, dog, he might get an L. The only problem is I believe there's a reach discrepancy. Fucking BoxRec doesn't show their reaches and shit. I know they show their heights. Kimweri is only 4'11". Dude is literally legally a midget. You know what I'm saying? And fucking Menayothin's 5'2". And I know Menayothin, I believe his arm reach is longer than Kimweri's. It just looks like it is. So he might have some problems in that aspect, but it doesn't matter because Menayothin's going to come on the inside any fucking way and put himself in range. So, man, it could be an excellent fight. I'm looking forward to this shit. I'm going to try to stream it if a nigga don't fall asleep again like I did for the fucking the Dago Higa and Ken Sherrill fights, respectively, because these fights are going to come on early as shit in Thailand, man. So, but my prediction, I got Wanhen winning it just because the fight is in Thailand. It's in his hometown. If Kimweri don't knock him out, I feel like they will still give the fight to Menayothin. And like I said, Menayothin is CP Freshmart's promoter, Diamond Boxing Promotions. That particular promotional company has a stranglehold on the minimum weight division. I mean, they can pay judges off, they can pay referees off. You know what I'm saying? So if anything, if this isn't a clear-cut victory for Kimweri, and I don't think it will be because the pressure will make him lose rounds. If it's not a clear-cut, straight-up Terrence Crawford versus Victor Postal type of victory for Kimweri, they're gonna rob him. So I got Menayothin winning. He's gonna be 47-0 after June 3rd.
Yeah, and just to piggyback, Kimweri does struggle fighting on the inside. He has taken some knockdowns when, he tries to exchange as opposed to, being defensive. I think it plays in the Menayothin's hands when he does get him in that position as well. I definitely have him winning this fight. I guess we got a couple of more fights we're going to get into as far as breaking those down. If y'all want to, I don't know if y'all want to talk about the Alvarez or Pascal fight coming up this weekend. I figure we throw it in there just because, it's pretty much essentially, I don't know.
It's a tough fight. A lot of people are like, yeah, nigga, I got Alvarez. I'm like, well, I mean, hey.
Well, that's another thing we could talk about in this one. Does Pascal have anything left? Because he's looked kind of dreary in a couple of past performances, his previous performances. So, that's pretty much, it's a what-if thing. But I'll go ahead and let you do this breakdown of this fight, man. I'll go into another part of it later, man. But, we'll start with your breakdown of it.
Well, the thing is, I'm not going to break it down too much. There's really not that much to break down. But the thing is, Jean Pascal looked bad against Sergey Kovalev, Yunieski Gonzalez, right? Those are only really the two guys that he's looked bad against. And in his last fight, he won by knockout. You know what I'm saying? He knocked the guy out. Of course, the guy had like 9 or 10 losses, something to that nature, yeah. But it still gives him the motivation to continue on when you win by knockout. You know what I'm saying? So with that said, I think he's going to walk into this fight with the confidence in that he can beat a fellow Canadian who really doesn't have the same kind of resume as him. He's not as popular as he is. Regardless of what we say, Jean Pascal is seen as one of the most popular fighters in Canada, especially after he beat Lucian Booty. You know what I'm saying? I call the nigga Booty. Especially after he beat him, he became a icon out in Canada. So the way Eleider Alvarez fights, bro, he tends to give up the pros or the advantages that are in his favor. For example, he has the ability to fight from the outside, okay? But you constantly see Eleider Alvarez putting himself on the inside for some fucking reason. He's not a knockout puncher. He did knock out the last guy, which was Lucian, Mr. Booty. You know what I'm saying? It's still, Lucian Booty was, he's, ever since the Carl Froch fight, man, I always thought Lucian Booty was overrated to begin with. My man, Andrade, I can't remember his name. Somebody get it for me. Labredo Andrade. I thought he whooped his ass in their first fight, you know what I'm saying? And the referee saved his ass from that knockout. And then ever since then, I was like, this dude's whack. Then Carl Froch went ahead and made it a reality for me, you know what I'm saying? So he's not really a guy to have a good measuring stick for Eleider Alvarez's flaws. Also, dude is extremely susceptible to the left hand. I think Jean Pascal he's a orthodox fighter, but man, if he can incorporate a left hand on Eleider Alvarez, man, that shit could be all night. Plus, Pascal is very quick. He's got quick footwork. He can be caught stagnant, and he can end up in a firefight with Eleider Alvarez on the inside. But if I'm Jean Pascal, man, I would bait Alvarez to keep going or to stay away from being on the outside. Try to come inside, bait him to try to come inside, and then step out and throw combinations, rinse and repeat. That's the fuck I would do to Eleider Alvarez. I don't think he's a smart enough fighter to actually realize that he's getting beaten or he's getting baited, and he's taking the bait, and he's being outclassed because of that. I don't think he's smart enough, So it depends, man. It's a good fight. It's a tough fight in my opinion. Jean Pascal has the tools. It's just a situation in which you said earlier. Does he have enough in the tank? Can he be the Jean Pascal he was before he walked into that Russian nightmare in the ring with the Russian nightmare? You know what I'm saying? So this is a fight I'll actually be looking forward to. I'm gonna watch it.
All right. Let me go ahead and get Bo's thoughts on this one as well. I just want to go ahead and piggyback on that as far as Alvarez. I thought Butte was looking good against him, other than taking those two goddamn right hands that put his ass out. So I mean that's kind of a testament to what Alvarez is, in my opinion. Go ahead, Bo.
Yeah, everything like too. It's not as bad as the fight as everybody making it out to sound like it is. Because the only person that was able to kind of sort of render John Pascal, to not being relevant was when he fought Sergey Kovalev. I don't know if Benito Alvarez, he's not that kind of a fighter. He has some flaws. You can always beat him to the jab. You can actually, like you said, Butte was even was doing pretty good and very well against him. So. It's not a fight that I'm like clamoring over, but it's, at the same time, it's not a fight that I think you should be dismissive of, because it does boil down to what John Pascal has left. He's taking some time off, so maybe something has revitalized him in the tank. So,
All right. You got a prediction as far as who you got winning this one? Well,
yeah, I heard you. You said who I got winning this?
I said you got a prediction, yeah.
I think Benito Alvarez is probably going to pull this one out. I think he's going to pull this one out, because even if Pascal comes out and he shows something, how long can he keep that up? That's the thing. Can he go to 12 rounds? Because he has had stamina issues before. So I think Alvarez can pull this.
Another thing is, I don't think I got a prediction from you as well, TK. So I'll let you go ahead and do that, or finish up with your statement as well.
Another thing is he's off balance a lot. That's gonna play on Eleider Alvarez's hands, being off balance. And that's always been the problem with Jean Pascal. That's one of the reasons why I never really liked him as a fighter, because he looks sloppy as fuck in the ring. But whenever he's off balance, a leader can actually take advantage of that if he's going in there with the right game plan of actually trying to box him. I got a leader in that fight just because there's too many unknowns with Jean Pascal. If Jean Pascal was active, he didn't look as bad as he did against Sergey and Yunieski Gonzalez. Really, it's not even Sergey. It's Yunieski. We've seen Yunieski after that fight get his ass drugged by two other motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of makes us wonder, like, damn, what the fuck was Jean Pascal doing? You know what I'm saying? So that fight right there kind of tells me that there might be an opportunity for him to not be the same Jean Pascal that he's always been. And if he comes into this fight as the Pascal that fought Yunieski, he going to lose, man. So like I said, there's too many unknowns. I got a leader in this fight.
All right, for sure. We're going to finish it off with Bernard. Let me get your prediction and thoughts as far as you got winning this fight, man.
I'm going to keep it short and simple. I'm going with Alvarez for the win. I'm pretty much, he's still the number one contender to Adonis Stevenson. So I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to go in there and lose that opportunity and give that to Pascal. I kind of want to know where Pascal's mindset is at after taking them two TKO victories, two TKO losses against Sergey Kovalev, and see where his mindset is at. And I think pretty much he may be broken. I'm not sure, but we'll see come Saturday when he fights Alvarez.
All right, and just some more of that. What is it, Jan Michael? I think that's who it is. Some more of his promotional tactics, man. I think he's trying to squeeze out a big money fight. That's pretty much what it seems like is going on, man. Like TK was saying, Pascal is still a big ass draw in Canada, and Alvarez is still relatively not necessarily talking about even in Canada, even though he just beat Butte, which is probably like Canada's native son in terms of boxers. Him and David Lemieux. They get all kind of glamour. So, I mean, even with that win, it didn't necessarily catapult him into, being that popular. in out of that Montreal stable. So I think it's a lot of that still going on as far as trying to milk out the most money, for a title fight out there with Adonis between Alvarez, Butte, and Pascal, who all have bigger names than Alvarez. That said, we're gonna go into our final prediction, our breakdown of the night. We got the rematch between Adonis Stevenson and Andrzej Fonfara going on. He's defending his WBC light heavyweight title. We'll go ahead and get that analysis going. 2K, go ahead, start us off, bro.
Man, okay, so before, let's say right after the Chavez fight and before Joe Smith Jr., I would have been picking Fonfara all day long. You know what I'm saying? I really believe Joe Smith Jr. took a lot out of Fonfara and actually showed that Fonfara can be beaten again by Adonis Stevenson, man, because everything Joe Smith did, Adonis Stevenson can do. You know what I'm saying? And he actually, in my opinion, I mean, even though I don't like this motherfucker, he can do it a little bit better than Joe Smith Jr. So, I mean, man, though, I wish that fight never happened. You know what I'm saying? Before this fight took place, but the last fight, Adonis beat him by unanimous decision. It was clear cut into, I believe, I can't remember what round, but Fonfara ended up dropping Stevenson and pretty much turned the tide. But it was a situation where it was a little too late for Fonfara to mount the charge that he had mounted. So I don't know, man. This one's a hard one for me to pick because we all know what Adonis is gonna do. He's gonna run around the ring with his left hand cocked until he lands the motherfucker. We already know he's gonna do that. Okay, that's how he fights. He incorporated a little bit more of a body punch and a little bit more of his right hand against Thomas Williams Jr. But I think Thomas Williams is a bum, and I've always said that from the get-go. He's not a good fighter. He's a C-level guy. He should never even had the title fight to begin with. When he beat Edwin Rodriguez, Adonis Stevenson was licking his fucking chops because he knew he was going to get another prospect in the ring, and he knew he was an easy fight for him. But with that said, he still displayed a little bit of a variety in his punches in that fight, so he might be able to bring that into the ring against Fonfara. But Fonfara, on the other hand, man, he's got to do the same thing he did against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Box the shit out of him. Let that straight right hand go. Adonis Stevenson does not have any fucking head movement. He ain't got no upper body movement. His footwork is kind of weak. I mean, he's not terrible. He doesn't have terrible footwork, but it's not great. I think Fonfara has better footwork than Adonis Stevenson, man, when he uses it and he's actually utilizing his, his boxing ability from the outside. You can't be baited on the inside, Fonfara. Just stay on the outside, utilize the 1-2, and time that left hand. Make sure you keep rotating to your right so this motherfucker can't land that left hand, man. I mean, to your left, excuse me. So this motherfucker can't land that left hand. And as you're rotating, make sure you turn him, keep the fight in the middle of the ring, and let that right hand go. Hopefully he does that. If he does that, man, he could beat Adonis Stevenson. I just don't know if Joe Smith Jr. took a lot out of the tank, man. It's kind of hard for me to figure that out. Beating a Chad Dawson, that don't mean shit to me. Chad Dawson's been washed up since before he lost to Tommy Carpensy. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that doesn't do shit for me, man. But to be safe, right now, before I do any breaking down a tape and analyzing the styles a little bit more deeper, I'm gonna go with Adonis Stevenson, man. Just because he can do the same type of game plan that Joe Smith Jr. did, but from the southpaw stance, and still beat Andrzej Fonfara. So I'm going to go with Stevenson.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Bernard. The CNC Music Factory. Go ahead, man.
Well, 2K has a nice breakdown. But I'm kind of going to go with my prediction is Fonfara with the upset because he has Virgil Hunter in his corner, I believe, right now as his trainer. And I'm pretty sure he could try to get Fonfara to time that left hand He'll avoid it, and I said it'll be a clear decision if he outboxes him. If he does outbox Stevenson and Stevenson gets the decision, it'll be a robbery because he's in Canada. So that's the only reason why. But I'm going with Fonfara.
All right, Bo, we're going to pass it along to you, man. Let me get your thoughts as far as your prediction as well on this one.
I'm going to keep it even shorter than everybody else. I'm standing by my microwave, and I'm finna have a talk with Adonis right now. I'm finna stick him in the microwave, pick up his and sit down and have a talk with him over some fucking potato chips.
Chicken.
You better leave the microwave.
That's my thing.
You better stop messing with the microwaves unless it's convection.
And that's it. That's my breakdown because that's about as much time as I decide to devote to Adonis chickens.
Hey,
because you don't need to be talking about him no way.
Hey, Twy, who you got pick? Who you picking?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, you know who I got it. I'm a loyal supporter. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know.
Canadian Caribbean babysitting supporter. That's what you is.
What? What are you talking about?
You supporting you support.
What was he saying? was he saying something? Was he saying something? Was he saying something? Got him. Nah, man, but let me go ahead and get into my little my little rant about the fight or whatever. I know Fonfara's switched up trainers with Virgil Hunter. He had him in this fight for Chad Dawson. And from what I saw in that fight, you know, looking through it, Chad Dawson gave him a lot of problems. You know what I'm saying? I know Fonfara, he's going to have a high work rate. So I expect, Adonis needs to have his conditioning together, which was a problem in the first fight. I mean, he needs to really be conditioned for this fight because Fonfara is going to bring a lot of a high work rate. You know, even with it being under Virgil Hunter, you know, he still has that high work rate that he had before. But with that said, if I'm Adonis, I'm going to tell him to go left hand heavy. Motherfucking Chad Dawson was hitting fucking Fonfara with every left in the book in their fight, you know, and threw it at will. So if I'm Adonis, this is the fight for you to unleash that motherfucker, knock his ass out. You know what I'm saying? Do it for the Caribbean.
Get the fuck out of here.
Bum ass supporter. Bum ass.
Oh, man.
Hey, I want to say something real quick, and it's something different. It's breaking news. And Dongo has been stripped of the IBF title because choosing the fight. He's going to fight Terrence Crawford. Yeah. I've heard about it. Man, that's some crazy. Well, I won't say it's crazy, but it's kind of fucked up. The IBF was blocking on it because I actually was seeing something where there's a stipulation where a unification comes before mandatory with them. That was something I was reading the other day in an article. So I'm not sure what the fuck is going on with this, man, but it kind of takes some of the luster off the fight to me, you know, because N'Damn is still relatively unknown, and for it not to be for a full-on unification, you know, for an undisputed champion, you know, that kind of sucks. I guess we'll go ahead and get in that one and see if anybody else has any other thoughts on that. Bo, you got anything you want to chime in about that?
Yeah, I mean, we saw this coming. The IBF, they don't fuck around with that, but it also causes confusion because it also makes you feel like they don't want to see a fucking undisputed champion. It just don't seem like that. Like I said, you sign off on a fight where you know there's a rematch clause, you sign off on it, and when the guy goes on it, you strip him of it. Yep. So now here's a situation where, like, especially like when you think about it, sometimes like. You can't say it's about money because there's more money with him fighting Crawford than there is him fighting this guy, you know, living it. But my issue with that is you want N'Damn to fight a guy that only has 11 fights, and I don't know you know what I'm saying? Like, you got women to fight a guy that has 11 fights with nothing on it. At this point, and Dongo has beat back-to-back fighters that he shouldn't have beat on their home turf. He beat Shabransky. You know, we all remember Shabransky, right? That's the guy. Troyanovsky. Right, my bad. Troyanovsky. That's the guy that Terrence Crawford was scared to fight. Remember that? Then he turned around and he fought Ricky Burns, and he thoroughly outboxed him. So, I mean, it's crazy, but it's to be expected. It's the IBF. They do silly shit like this. That's why that drug addict Charles Martin had a fucking belt, because they did some bullshit like this.
Exactly, and that's exactly what my response was to that post, man, because a dude in our group posted it, and I was like, you know, the IBF is known, and I need to do this fucking video. They're known for blocking the shit out of undisputed champions, man. They're known for this. They did it for Tyson Fury when he beat Vladimir Klitschko. As soon as that fight ended, they're like, yeah, nigga, you got to fight, what is that nigga's name, Glaskov or some shit. You got to fight him. And Tyson's like, hey, bro, but I got the rematch clause. They're like, nah, dog, you got to fight nigga Glaskov. So they strip him and give it to Charles Martin. I mean, nobody knew who the fuck Charles Martin was. I didn't even know who Charles Martin was. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, they're known for blocking these undisputed or opportunities for an undisputed champion. And it makes sense because when you've got the belts distributed across 4 different champions, man, the sanctioning bodies get more money under the table than when it's just one fucking champion. You know what I'm saying? So the IBF, an organization that is known for not even allowing step-aside money for their mandatories, I mean, they could do whatever they want when it gets to the point where it's looking like we're going to have an undisputed champion. That's when they're going to step in and be like, oh, hold up, nigga. Julius, you're going to have to fight this cat. We don't know who the nigga is either, but we're going to put him at number 1. His name is Sergey Limpnuts. You're going to fight that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. And honestly, I was saying before this actually happened, because it had a foregone conclusion. This story had a foregone conclusion if Ndongo didn't fight Limpnuts. You know what I'm saying? I was saying that he should go ahead and fight him while Terrence Crawford was still recovering from his fight with Felix Diaz. He should go ahead and fight Sergey Limpnuts, beat this motherfucker into submission, and then the IBF can't say nothing after that. He's already satisfied the mandatory, so he could go in there and try to fight Terrence Crawford. But that's not the decision he made, and the decision he made, like I said, had a foregone conclusion, so now he's stripped. So I'm not surprised.
I mean, he's definitely trying to get all the cash he can, you know. I don't know if they saw something in Lipinets. I don't know if there was much to see in 11 fights, you know. But, you know, we're seeing guys winning fights in under 10, winning titles in under 10 fights now, a lot of it. So I don't know if they saw that kind of talent in Lipinets. I don't know. Or if they're just trying to go, you know, get some money in Ndongo's pockets as fast as possible. I mean, what kind, you know, we don't know what kind of track they're on. That said, we're going to go ahead and let TK go into the final blow of the week, man.
Well, I mean, I'm going to piggyback off of what Bernard's the fucker of the week, man. The final blow is going to the UK fans. Look here, man, I've said this time and time again on this show. I've said it on my show. Please, don't talk if you can't break down fights properly. If you can't assess styles properly, don't talk. Just listen, okay? I understand, you know, niggas want to have a jabberjaw and shit like that shark on the cartoon. You know what I'm saying? I understand that. But the thing is, yo, really, you look stupid as fuck when you say certain things about fighters, and it's completely, totally different when the fight actually pans out, when the fight actually happens, right? So you've got situations where they've compared, like Bernard said, Tank Davis to Jeff Lacey, Liam Walsh to motherfucking Joe Calzaghe. You got Errol Spence compared to Jeff Lacey, Kell Brook compared to Joe Calzaghe, which was completely ridiculous. I mean, it's a testament to their love for their boxers, and that's fine. You know, I actually admire that, you know, being in America, watching how they back their fighters, because, like I said before, America should be backing the shit out of Andre Ward. And, I mean, this is a guy who hasn't lost. The last fight he lost was when he got spanked by his father. You know what I'm saying? And we choose not to back this man because we want to take the side of these Eastern European fighters, these Russians, these Uzbekistan motherfuckers, these Germans, etc., etc. We will take their side before we actually take the side of a fellow American. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I do admire about the UK fans. But the problem here is they become delusional to the point where they say some shit that is completely outrageous. Before this, the most outrageous shit that I heard was them comparing Anthony Joshua's knockout of Vladimir Klitschko to fucking Muhammad Ali's knockout of Sonny Liston. And they put the two pictures side by side when he's standing over Vladimir. A nigga got a busted up face and shit, let me add, right? He's standing over Vladimir with a busted up face. And Ali's standing over Sonny Liston looking clean as day like the nigga just stepped out the club. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Even the pictures themselves tell you it's not the same thing. So it's like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? You know? So when you say certain things and when you make certain outlandish-ass comparisons, don't get mad when American niggas like myself get ready to tap that ass. You know what I'm saying? Because we've already told you guys from the get-go that Errol Spence is a force to be reckoned with. All right? Now, it was and I said in my interview with Derek James and also said on one of our Night at the Roundtable podcasts, I understand why, you know, people didn't want to latch on to Errol Spence. You know, there's really nothing there, you know, resume-wise to basically support our claims. But that's why you need to practice on being able to break down styles, being able to take that information that you did on that style, on that breakdown of the style, and apply it to how it will look against other fighters. And you will actually be able to see why we can say a guy like Errol Spence, whose only fight, the biggest fight he had before Kell Brook was Chris Algieri, right? That's why we're able to say that he will knock out Kell Brook late in the fight before the fight even happens. That's why we're able to do that. That's why we're able to laugh at you when you say he's equivalent to Jeff Lacey. You see what I'm saying? So, man, in conclusion, man, the UK fans, keep doing what you're doing as far as supporting your fighters. 100% agree with that. But at the same time, you have to come back down to reality, and you have to apply, or at least you have to acquire an ability to break down fights, analyze styles, and develop a well-educated analysis about a fight before you actually open your fucking mouth, because you're going to end up looking stupid every single time. Lastly, I think y'all niggas only got like 12 titles now, so, you know, we're going to keep taking them titles from you cats. Real talk.
All right. Do you know they count on us right now? Because I know they're going to try and bring that shit up probably.
Yeah, I think it's 12. Because I think Leo Santa Cruz was belt number 13, and then Errol Spence just made it number 12.
Tank got one. Okay. So we making our way back into it slowly but surely. All right, so great final blow 2K, you know what I'm saying? Last way to stick it to these UK fans for the week. There's been a lot of heckling going on. It's been all in good fun. You know, it's all in good fun. We got much respect for y'all. I mean, you guys are lively. I mean, over there, it's fucking possible for you to be, you know, just a regular Joe. I mean, be a regional fighter, a regional titleist, and make a living. I mean, here in the States, not necessarily so. So that shows you the level of support they got out there for boxing. So it's all love, man. With that said, we're going to let you guys give out your handles where you guys can be found. Starting off with Bernard, man, where can we get you?
You can follow me on Instagram at The Müvment, DAMUVMENT BP. You can also follow me on The Müvment's Twitter at The Müvment Boxing. That's a capital D, capital M, and a capital B for those respective The Müvment Boxing. Also, you can find me on Eastwick, The Müvment Facebook group page, Talking Boxing and Bullshit, We Literally Boxing, Ring IQ. And you can also find That Was Me. If y'all ain't checked out the latest video that 2K dropped on his YouTube channel, That Was Me in that skit with the Man Down skit. So check that out. I got more stuff coming soon that I will be not just be doing on Truth and Facts, but I'm going to put it on his platform as well. as well as on the Instagram page. So look out for that. I also did upload the skit as well as the link to the video on the Twitter, our Twitter, and as well as our Instagram. So follow us.
All right. Go ahead, Bo. Give them your handle and where you guys can be found, or where you can be found at.
Truth and Facts About Boxing on YouTube, at Twitter, capital T for Truth, _ capital F for Fact Boxing 1. On Instagram, same thing, Truth and Facts About Boxing. You can also find me on Hands on Fire podcast right here with you guys. Whenever 2K decides he wants to use his phone and call, you can also find me on his show, The Gods of Boxing Talk, and Pound for Pound Boxing. And, shout out to everybody out there, Garcia Grill Boxing, everybody out there listening. And shout out to our boy Big Cool. He wasn't on with us today. Shout out to him. And just, hey, this is the movement. This is real. Hey, this is where it is right here. Boxing ain't in mainstream. It's right here. This is where it's boots on the ground with us.
All right, and just to throw out Big Cool's handle, Colossal Boxing Talk is where you can find him at on Facebook and YouTube, their YouTube channel. We're gonna pass it on to 2K and let him give out, where he can be found on his social media.
Yeah, you can, man, fuck all that other shit, man. Catch me on the Gods of Boxing Talk. I know Bernard going to be mad because I ain't going to say my Twitter handle. That shit whack. I hate Twitter. Fuck that. You catch me on Facebook. His profile's EJ Will. I'm usually on, just really East with, that's my man, Willie the Kid, a.k.a. Wilson over there. He got that group. And then we're on the Movement, of course, our group. Of course, this podcast every Sunday. So I guess I'll say my Twitter handle. It's at capital B for boxing, capital G Gods. I don't ever check that motherfucker. You can follow me if you want to. I ain't never going to check it. So it is what it is.
I'm not going to get mad anyway. You know what I'm saying? I ain't no whole ass nigga. That's your shit anyway. Shoot, only I would tell you to do
I can't stand Twitter, man. I go on there, if I see notifications from you guys, I'll definitely go on there. But I really can't fucking stand Twitter. It's just a whack-ass setup to me, man. So I really just on the YouTube page, man, you can holler me on there. I pretty much respond to everybody's comments on all of my videos. So unless you say some stupid shit, I'll delete your fucking comments so the shit won't even be shown in the first place. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? I respond to every comment. So if you want to holler at me, it's really just holler at me on the channel.
All right, and closing out on Twine the Divine Liberty, also known as the Black Victor Newman, a.k.a. the Benevolent. You can find me at WhoJab.com and, a lot of these other groups that, these cats was just talking about. Eastwood Boxing, Ring IQ, Die Hard Boxing. We live, eat, sleep boxing. I'm in there talking shit all day. You can find me on the Instagram page, The Movement BP. I'm on there with Bernard running things.
You also can find him on Adonis Stevenson's Nuts this Saturday.
This motherfucker here. God damn it. God damn you. You know what? I was gonna do something nice for y'all, man. I can't even do it now, man. You want to be so goddamn disrespectful and shit. Oh, but for real, I want to give a shout out to Bo and Bernard, man. They earned their wings this weekend. They first media creds at an event in Chicago. Michael Collins' second professional fight. Mike Alvarez was on the card as well, so I want to give out a shout out to them for earning their wings. Like I said, I got lucky with the shit I do in media. These motherfuckers actually been going hard and started from the ground up. You know what I'm saying? So that's it. Shout out to these two fellas, man.
Thank you.
All right. And you could probably catch us on the nights at the round table this week. Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll let that be known on social media when we're going to do that. And also, that Sunday, we'll be doing another podcast. Of course, we got the June 3rd. I forgot what fight we got coming up on June 3rd, but
Wanhen Menayothin coming up June 3rd. And then you got Adonis Stevenson. Yeah, Adonis Stevenson, Fonfara, Eleider, Alvarez, Pascal. That's June 3rd.
Okay, that's next week, and then next week on the Müvment as far as what we'll be breaking down for title fights. We'll be breaking down a week beyond that, which will be we ain't got no big fights that week?
Nope, June 17th is the next big fight.
Okay. All right, so, yeah, we'll definitely just be giving y'all news next week. We'll probably try and do something for the Joe Diaz and Regis Figueroa's fight. You know, that's our boy right there. You know, he's been on the show, supports us, you know, as far as on social media and all that. And with that said, man, we gonna see you when we see you, man. Peace.